coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, and I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, and I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Hey Lord, I saw you tear mountains from the sky and turn mighty rivers dry. You showed me how the barren brings forth life and how this immortal dragon dies in my life. 'Cause truth means nothing until someone believes enough to make it plain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I was waiting on the magic to react till you showed me it was right there for me to gain. 'Cause it's difficult to see when you're half awake and you've been walking in your sleep. But then I heard your voice whispering to me, hey, and it's bringing me back to life. Bringing me back to life. It's bringing me back to life. Bringing me back to life. All this time I wasted, thinking I was almost dead, but now I'm breathing. If my heart is racing, I feel the blood rushing underneath my skin. My whole perspective's changing, though I can never go back to the condition I was in. No, no, no. Lost in shadows, cut off by towers left in the dark. Hey, hey. Yeah, I was wounded by arrows, shot down to try to keep us where we are. Yeah, 'cause you can get used to living on the edge of death when you've been there for a while. But when I found your love, I wasn't scared to die. Now you're bringing me back to life. Back to life. You're bringing me back, bringing me back to life. All this time I wasted.
3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? We are live after some glitches. We had to change some texting, the wording of our title, because Facebook was definitely not letting us go live.
The overlords.
Yeah. So I just kind of threw some nicknames in there. So we're here. It's Tuesday night. We got all the fellas in the building. And we're gonna go live. We're gonna talk about some stuff.
All the fellas and the ladies.
And the ladies. We got James said we got Alanis Morissette in the building.
She didn't like that one.
You got to flash the camera over there.
Yeah, you
James.
She's like, I don't know if I like that.
Not fair.
Someone's muted. All right, that's it. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young
lion. What's up, everybody? We're back. We were doing that, singing the Peter Griffin Christmas songs. Oh man, that was funny.
Here comes Easy.
Yeah, everything should be live. It was live before.
Check Moan's cable.
got
I
the
think he's
green
got
one,
the.
right?
I think he's got the bad one. Just play with the the green cable, the green one, the green one. No, the green one over there. Yep. No, take the cable itself and and then just kind of like boom, just jiggle that around a little bit.
Man, I was gonna say maybe. Blow on yours like the cartridge.
You gotta replace the cables on that green mic. Check. Do this. No, the cable. Grab the cable. There you go. You hear that?
I heard it.
Get that thing
Get
connected.
up in there.
It's real taut.
Talk, Mo.
It's very taut.
Oh gosh.
Check.
Yeah, Ken.
All right.
And that's how you silence.
Patreons.
Exactly.
Check.
You can hit up the Cash App. Young Lion TV.
Check. Hey. Check.
Why don't you just give him a different cable, James?
1, 2. Just see if I can get it to work. 1, 2.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the things we deal with. So how you doing, James? Is you're good?
I'm good.
You're good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just that green one.
It's just the green.
Nobody wants to listen to Moan anyway. Let's ignore him.
Wasn't his working before we went live?
Yeah.
It was.
It was, yeah. And nobody went over there or anything.
Hey, listen, Meta has spoken. Moan shall not talk. Moan shall not speak.
I shall not speak.
The universe doesn't like you.
You must have been talking some bull. Bull.
Go back to their angle, John. Go back to their angle because I just. All right, they're good.
Hello.
All right.
And we're back.
There we go. He's in there.
I am here.
Okay. I like what you said though, Moon. This is why we need the Patreon support.
Yes.
So we can get more cables. Shout out to everybody who's watching right now. We appreciate each and every one of you. We hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving weekend is over. All the Black Friday madness into Cyber Monday madness into December is tomorrow madness. But we got Emma in the building, and Mom said hi, my loves. Emma said hello, guys. What's up? Shout out to the Patreon members.
Lena said, "What up?"
What's up, Lena? Make sure you guys share this video, like this video, and don't forget to sign up to our Patreon, please, guys. If you like the conversations that we have, if you want to support what we're doing, if you want to keep this thing growing that we're trying to do, it really helps us when you guys sign up on the Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon members, and it is growing over there. And the more it grows, we'll be able to spend more time doing this and actually like just fill that with content and build this community out that we're trying to build, this lion pride that we got going on here. So we appreciate those that are signed up already. And also, if you want to donate, if you want to just support, you can hit the Cash App right there. It's $ Young Lion TV. Very easy to do. Just throw some change over. Still waiting on Donnie. He had a lot to say last week, but they ain't donate. They ain't throw no donations.
Did he come on? Is he on?
I don't know.
I thought he might have texted.
He's done with us.
Lena said her birthday is Saturday.
Happy birthday. Oh yeah, and don't forget, they're pulling all the screens up, and I didn't mention it, but the website is there if you want to go there to check out our latest music and also get the merch. The Jatan merch is available on the website, jatan.com. And subscribe on YouTube, hit us on Instagram, all that stuff. We're trying to keep growing this thing. We've been dedicated to this for like almost 3 years now, right?
It's 3 years.
Has it been?
Yeah.
3.
It'll be 3 years in April, right?
What?
Or March.
Say
Yeah.
what?
When we started. Well, this is episode 133, guys.
Wow.
Like we've been trying to be consistent and be dedicated to this thing and just let it kind of evolve and grow into what it's going to be. You know, and when we first started doing this, it was just like we're going to get together and just talk some crap and, you know, do what we normally do anyway.
After the gym days.
Yeah, well, we used to be outside of the
Sit in
gym.
a circle, talk for a while.
But you know, we're gonna try to grow this thing out. We really want to try to get this community built, because the stuff that we're finding, other people that believe in what we believe in, people that tune in every week, Patreon members like Paul and Emma and Lena and all the people that tune in and always support and show love. We want to keep that community tight. And I was talking to Jake about like just doing stuff like once we get to a point where we can do like a Young Lion meetup and stuff like that, where people meet each other, talk, have some food, share, exchange ideas, things like that, and do some mentor stuff on the Patreons. And I want to have Jake like go, because on here it's not really the platform for him to go deep into a lot of the stuff that he wants to teach on. So like on the Patreon, that's something that we could definitely do.
Scratch the surface here. So
yeah, we just scratch it
deeper.
We just scratch it because people ain't ready for it. And Facebook clearly ain't ready. And that's the other thing. Like Patreon is a place where we can talk about other stuff because of the buy-in wall. Like we can talk about stuff that YouTube or Facebook would ban us for. So. That's just another reason. Shout out to George. He said, "What up, fam? Hope y'all had a happy Thanksgiving. Same to you, brother. Make sure you hit the share button, hit the like button. But I got Moan with me, and we got Mr. Build right in the building.
I'm back.
What up?
He's back. He's
What the
back
hell
after
up?
he was building a lot of things right, so he's back right now. Moan, why are we still not centered? What's going on with our angle? It keeps
His
changing.
body is
I
shifting.
think because you keep
Did I shift?
coming
Yeah.
over here, Jamie.
I'm
so-
not. I'm all the way up against the camera. I'm not moving at all.
No, I'm saying coming over here.
Oh. So I'm moving it.
Move
All
your
right.
shoulders. Shake your shoulders.
We got Stan with us again,
What up?
and Jake,
What's up, guys?
of course. Jake and his what's that? The Columbia, your Columbia.
Columbia.
Sweater.
My $20
Yeah.
dad jacket.
Hey, that thing is warm.
It's warm, bro.
Yo, and I just realized this, but on the production team, looking like a team because they matching so nicely. We got John, and Ray. Oh, John, you out of the shot. You out of the
Get
shot,
in
bro.
the shot.
Come on, man.
Get in.
Yeah, look at him. Look at him looking like a team. Opposites. Yeah.
Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, Rachel's back after a
Look at
long
his face.
hiatus. Huh?
Dude's face is
Go
like,
back.
Yeah,
on.
he's
I
like,
do like the
"Come on."
Puma hat though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, how was everybody's Thanksgiving, first of all?
Good.
Good, man.
Everybody's good? Everybody,
What did you do?
I had two.
I spent it with my in-laws. I cooked the turkey.
Oh,
It was good. It was good. It was quiet. It was. It's actually enjoyable.
Did you do any Trinidadian flair to it, or just?
That'll be a negative on the spices, sir. No, I make my own sofrito, if you will.
Okay.
And I mean, it was good. It was spicy, Caribbean style.
Nice.
well, Trinidadians have their own name for the sofrito, right? It's a very clever and ingenious name. What do they call it?
You put me in a spot. I can't remember.
What? Come on, man. I'm setting you up for the joke. I'm giving you the layup, the alley-oop.
You should have warned me.
Come on. You know how your people do. Everything is the most obvious name ever, right?
Isn't it green?
It's called green seasoning because it's green.
Isn't that a Caribbean thing though? Like they all call it.
They
green
literally
seasoning.
call it green seasoning.
I forgot. That is true. Green seasoning.
Yeah.
Hey, look for the green seasoning.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but
It's like, I love the way this thing tastes. What should we call it?
think about it.
Green seasoning.
What are you wasting your time?
green seasoning.
It was good. It was good. It was good. Good time. Good family. Played some little games, stuff like that. It was good.
That's what's up.
What games did you play? I'm interested.
Shaniqua, what was it? It was called.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black.
No, it was definitely black.
James don't know.
No. I don't know. But what was it called?
Was it
It's
spades?
something slang. But it was definitely a black game. But something slang. But it was like, I'll give you an example. I can't remember the name of it. She's probably gonna put it in the comment. But it was like you had to act out certain things. So my mother-in-law, who's Christian, 64 years old, was doing the weed one. She had to roll out a weed.
That's hilarious.
Tell me you got some video, man.
I don't know if they did. I didn't play. They played, but you had to do all the.
Why didn't you play?
It's like Pictionary or something, right?
Wow.
I can't remember. It was called like something slang, but it was like pretty much like all like
It's like
inner-
charades, right?
Yeah, but like all inner
sure.
city references.
Can we turn up the gain on James's mic a little bit? The black knob at the top there.
But it was. They
The
had a
black
good
version of charades.
It should be
Time. I can't remember what it was called.
the fifth one.
Ask.
I'll leave it up to Shaniqua. Shaniqua will
There
find
we go.
it.
Good.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Xavier real quick.
Oh, what up,
X?
X?
Hope you had
X?
hope you had a good Thanksgiving, X. Oh,
What
Donnie's
up,
on
X?
there. Donnie said,
Oh,
"I'm
here
on
we
the
go.
live feed today. Appreciate you, Donnie. Hey, we still waiting on that Cash App, brother. Still waiting on that Cash
Where
App.
that money
Jake,
at,
Jake hit
bro?
me up like, yo, check the Cash App. Donnie said he donated. I looked at that thing like, nope.
Where that money at,
Donnie said-
Johnny?
I got you on the second Tuesday next week.
right. Yeah, but I'm glad everybody had a good time on Thanksgiving. I fried a turkey again. Didn't drop
That's
it on
like
the
your
floor.
thing now. You're-
Yeah, I'm the designated turkey fryer.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
I
forgot
kind of.
that. Woo, 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 woo.
That was a good turkey.
I kind of got like a little system down. I'm getting like
Yeah.
I'm getting better with like knowing the formula to get the
Yeah. You've
the good fried
done at least for like 5 years in a row now fried
yeah,
turkey.
yeah, multiple and sometimes like 2-3 times
In
in
fact, you
one
got
year.
so good at it, my cousin tried to scam you. And you said, no,
did.
brother, get
He
your
sure
own.
did. I said, would you like me to give you the recipe, my brother? Because I am not going to be out here frying turkeys for the whole neighborhood.
What do you think of Popeyes?
Yeah, no, because it's a process, man.
Yeah. What fryer do you,
You guys
have?
hear me?
I got the yeah, we hear you. Oh, we got to plug in another mic. Okay. I got the big butterball fryer.
Okay, that's
you know,
the brand is
the
that.
electric one.
Right.
Which I mean, it works pretty good. I wish it was a little bit better at regulating the temperature because
You
like
need a propane one for that.
yeah, but the propane ones they're harder to work with and they're more dangerous.
Okay.
Because if the oil overflows, you know what I mean? Like the thing I like about the Butterball one is like it has the magnetic power cable.
Okay.
So like it's electric, so there's no flame. So if the oil overflows,
pull it.
you just pull it, and then it's like, or if you accidentally walking by it and you kick the cord, it comes off, so you don't have to worry about it spilling over. Because there's so like y'all seen the GIF I sent y'all.
Yeah.
Like that, there's so many videos of
Yeah.
people starting fires from them.
But it's
turkey
also
frying.
because they didn't throw the thing out right, too.
No, and also when you work with the propane one, you have to put the turkey in with water first, so you know the level. Because the level of oil that you put in, once you drop the turkey in, that oil level rises. So a lot of people fill that thing up.
And it rises fast
Yeah,
depending on how
right.
fast
Yeah.
you
So
drop it.
they fill that thing up. They don't understand how
Right.
density works. So it's like you
Did
put
not
that
pay attention to chemistry.
You're right, right.
Points
You
right
put
there.
that turkey in there, and that oil level just comes over the top, and then it just So you have to know. And the Butterball one has like a line, and you kind of get the hang of it, you know.
Okay.
But it's it's good, man. The only thing is like when you drop the turkey in, the temperature drops all the way down, so it takes a little longer to fry. But
Right.
but it's good.
Got it.
It's
Yeah,
delicious.
it was really good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
yeah. And you guys smoked the turkey.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
They fried it and smoked it.
Yeah, it was
Air
infrared.
fried it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
but we're-
air fried it.
Yeah, infrared fried it and then smoked it for about an hour. It was
Good,
delicious.
Yeah, and it held its moisture, it didn't dry out. Or anything.
Why don't we eat
That's
turkey
'cause-
all year round? We just eat it right at that time.
I do it on purpose so that, you know.
You don't. You want full on turkey at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta tell you, like, turkey's not that good.
yeah.
Like,
You get tired of it.
turkey is so overrated,
You
bro.
do get
Like-
tired of
I
it.
like
Oh,
turkey,
matter of
actually.
fact, speaking of turkey, I brought all of y'all some turkey soup that I made yesterday.
There you go.
Because I took the rest of that carcass and made a big pot of turkey soup, and Liz was like, "You better bring that to them because there's no way we're eating all of that." So I got
Nice.
some over there on the table for
take
y'all to
some.
take with y'all.
I might eat it after this. I'm hungry.
I like turkey. I like the turkey wings that we make.
Oh, turkey wings!
That's
I can
what I
eat
had.
turkey. The wing is the best part of the turkey,
Yeah,
but only the
it
flat
is.
part of the wing.
Right.
Right.
The drum part of the wing is still
Right.
trash.
Yeah.
It's
But-
good. Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah,
turkey
it's
wings, we,
Racist
you
against
know,
the turkeys.
Oh,
they
gosh.
gave us some turkey wings at the show in
Talk about that.
Yeah,
Pompano Beach.
Uh-oh.
So I mean, this weekend we were in Louisville, Kentucky. Mon got to see his sister, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But it was interesting being there. Like it's like a city, but it's country at the same time. And like when we got out, I don't know if y'all seen the stories that we put up on Instagram, but when we got out of the airport, there was a dude out there with a like a 2007 Charger limo
Oh,
picking us up from the airport. And it was like a prom limo, bro. It was just very, very, very country, man.
Right.
It was hilarious. But he was so nice.
Yeah, he was a
dude
cool
named
dude.
Curtis. He was super
Yeah.
cool.
Brother Curtis.
Yeah, but it was just like, it was just when you go into different environments, it's just
Different, yeah.
you don't know what to expect. Okay. And then we did a show in an old theater with so much history. Was built in 1920, and like when you look on the wall of all the people that like toured it and had been in there, it's everyone from like back in the day.
Wow.
That was like a staple. You go to
Rolling
Louisville,
Stones.
yeah, Rolling
Yeah.
Stones, Marvin Gaye,
They
Motown.
had Richie Valens.
Yeah,
and,
that tour that with Big Bopper
when
and
they all died.
Yeah, that tour went to that building,
Yeah.
and but the problem was in 2020, 100 years later, 2021, 101 years later. Can you all believe it's about to be 2022? Dang, so the boiler went 2 days before we got there, so. We walk in there and they got little space heaters like this big all throughout the building trying to warm it up. It was freezing in there. Man.
Wow.
But yeah, it was still a good time. First time I got to see Louisville. He took us to the Louisville Slugger factory, and they have like the biggest bat in the world. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
50 feet tall.
So that's
or
a good
something.
thing about what you guys, in a sense, like you guys get to go to all these historic, because you're not going as musicians, right?
Yeah.
Entertainers. You get to go to like historic. You're not going to the run of mill. Like say a family travels to Louisville, you're not going there.
Right.
But like for you guys or entertainers and musicians, whatever, you get to go see historical buildings, and you're kind of in an area where it's like many famous people have traveled. Like,
Yeah,
you're in
like-
a space that they shared.
Yeah, you're on that stage. You're like, wow, Elvis was
But
on
every
this stage.
city, yeah.
Like, like everybody was on this stage that you
Right.
could think of. We were just talking about these old acts. They were all on that stage, you know.
Right.
And then you look at the room and all the history in there, and you can just imagine, like, the segregation going on in the crowd. Like,
Right.
You know.
it's like you're literally a part of like history,
yeah. It's interesting. So
And it's funny because they make all that money, but they never fix up these buildings.
they don't. They
It's like
don't, man.
It's like a prerequisite. Like, don't fix this.
Right.
Leave it on the way it is.
Right.
Shout out to Paul Horner.
What up, Paul? We were just talking about you, man. Shout out. But so so then right from Louisville on Friday, Black Friday, we went to Louisville. Then we flew to Pompano Beach, Florida, right outside of Fort Lauderdale on Saturday. And this is like, it's Southern Florida. Fort Lauderdale is more nice. This is more of the like kind of hood you're getting into, Pompano Beach. So we did a show there with Drew Hill, Monica, who else? Avant, and Ball Greasy ended up performing. And
It's like 5,000 people.
5,000 people
that's a lot of
outdoor, and
Not worried about
Jackson.
COVID.
weed smoke everywhere. And Freddie Jackson. Yeah.
All that goes together.
Yeah. And it was like chaos everywhere, bro. Like it's just one of those events where nobody was in charge. Nobody knew who was supposed to be where. And you're just like, but what Moan was talking about was when we got backstage, they were supposed to have food for us, right? Like they're supposed to have dinner for us. It's in our rider, So we get into the dressing room and there's literally, how many of us was it? There's 9 of us,
There's
right?
9 of us.
There was 9 plates with a cover over them.
A plate over it.
A plate with a plate over it on the table. Like usually we get into our dressing room, there's like a
plates.
catering spread. There's like, there's the sternos with the thing, and there's food in there, and you make your plates or whatever. But no, there was a paper plate with a paper plate on top, and we walked in and we were like, what is about to be inside of this paper?
Right? You guys looked around. Elvis and the Beatles didn't come through here.
Right. So we lifted up, and it was like one cold turkey wing, and the brightest orange mac and cheese you've ever seen in your life.
It was one on each plate. It was one turkey flat
Yeah,
and the wing tip part.
yeah. And
Every
then some
single
mac and cheese. That was what they gave us as a meal. And then like,
And nobody ate.
Literally, like-
except for one person. Can you guess who?
oh, there's only one person.
Let the drum. Let the drum
who was
get
it?
wicked.
Who was it?
I don't got nothing to say.
I know who it was.
You know,
Mr.
Jordan?
Damiani.
yeah, you got it. Yes,
John guessed it.
yeah.
Damiani.
Damiani
He
was,
was
not
the
going to
only
let
one.
no free food go to waste, brother. He don't care what it look like, what it smells like. He was like, if it's free, I'm eating it. And he cleaned that whole plate. He was the only one to touch that food, man. Yeah.
But them, it's exhausting.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
is.
The whole experience is exhausting. From Kentucky, like dealing with the sound check.
Yeah.
Because you gotta think like we went from Thanksgiving to wake up 3:00 in the morning. Well,
2:30.
meeting at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, right.
To leaving on the flight, getting there. A lot of times you're just putting your bags in your room. You go straight to the sound check.
Yeah.
Dealing with a 3-hour sound check. You know, it's just nonstop go, and then we get back to the hotel, just enough time to really get our stuff.
Yeah.
Eat a little something. Go to the other show.
Yeah.
You know, wake up at 3:00 in the morning. So you're like just going. And then we had to stay there for like 5 hours at that sound check because of the mess that's going on. So a lot of like, you know, we're joking, but we went through a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing that we're learning as we're going through this, because the biggest issue is most time people don't hold up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
When you go,
When we go on these trips.
and there's a contract.
And
you
it's
know?
every step of the way. So it's
Yeah.
like our contract specifies this is what we need for sound. This is what we need for our time slot. This is what we
Right.
need in place driver, this type of vehicle. You know,
Yeah.
this is the type of meal we need.
Right.
This is the type of accommodation we need. This is the type of, whatever. You name it.
Yeah.
And then it's like when every step of the way, you're met with, okay, they dropped the ball. Okay, they dropped the ball. Okay, they dropped the ball.
Not just they drop the ball, they don't care.
Yeah.
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 And they try to take you for your money.
Yeah, right.
So it can be frustrating, and I'm just saying this because, like, people deal with this every day. You know,
Yeah.
you deal with things that frustrate you every day. But we learn that when we get frustrated and when people are when we feel justified in acting a certain way because they're not holding up their, we still can't do that. We
Yeah.
have to give it to God. Mm-hmm. You know, we have to trust in God, and we're learning how
We
to.
can't be pulled into that energy.
Right.
That we can't be pulled into their frequencies, was what we were talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
because every time when we don't, God does something.
yeah.
You know, that's what we realize. Like God did something at all these places,
Mm-hmm.
right? And even in terms of like what God wanted to release, like
Yeah.
there's a spiritual thing that goes on, right? And if you get pulled into all this stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like we said, all these people go to Kentucky. All these people went on that stage,
Yeah.
right? But are we going to just be like every one of them? Or are we going to change history?
Right.
Are we going to... And it's just like, nobody knows who we are. So what? That's
Yeah.
not what it's about.
Right.
It's about, what is music really about? Mm-hmm. Music is really about worship, right? And it's not about saying, praise you, Jesus, because you could have that... You could say all them words, but not be at that frequency that we talked about.
We've seen it with multiple, music ministries.
Right.
You know?
You can be praising yourself while
Right.
praising Jesus.
Right.
So it's about that, carrying that sound and just seeing how that can change. And all of us have to be on the same page.
Right.
Right. We all get frustrated, and what are we doing? We're helping one another.
Yep.
To like,
Because you see one person start to get pulled in, you got to pull them back up. Like,
Right.
nah, come
Yep.
on, man. Like,
Yeah.
But what could you do? What could you do as musicians or whatever it is? Because your time is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have to kind of work in these strenuous situations, but what could you do to kind of like make them or just nothing? You just can't. You just got to deal with it.
I mean, to be honest with you, once you're there,
You have nothing to do.
you're at their mercy. I mean, you could pull out and then go through the challenge of like,
Try
I still want my money. You know what I mean? Because we were here
then
in
that's
market and you
more
didn't hold up
conflict.
your end of the
Right.
bargain. But then that's a whole battle in court. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because
And
you're
they
not
know
talking.
that.
You're not talking about $5,000. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars that they owe you. You know what I mean?
And that's not our role anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's
Right.
that's management's role.
Yeah.
We're there to do what we do, so we have to make sure we do
Yeah.
it right. And even in that, like they don't hold like we waited for 5 hours at the Fort Lauderdale show.
Yeah.
And
While Monica's band was literally up there rehearsing.
right.
Yeah.
But do our sound check, and then we get on stage and
It wasn't saved.
nothing was saved. Like, so what that means is on the board where they mix everything while we're sound checking, there's presets,
Yeah.
and they save everything that we do.
So that when we get
Right.
back up on stage for the show, they just pull it up. Because think about it, there was 3 acts that went on before us. So, you know, when you work in these situations with multiple bands, especially like these festival kind of things, they have a digital board that can save everyone's sound.
Yeah.
So you get up there, you get everything the way your band needs it, and then they save that. So when the other band comes up, they change everything for them, and then they save that for them. So for some reason with us, they never saved it. So when we got back on, we're literally on the stage while the MC is up there cracking his jokes or whatever to waste time until we're ready to go. And I'm realizing that all of our monitors are not what they were at soundcheck. Yeah. So now I'm running back and forth to the guy who's mixing monitors, arguing with him like, yo, what happened? And he's scared to tell me, you know what I mean? So he's like, yeah. And I can't just be an asshole and curse him out because he's now in control of our show. So it's just like, there's a part of me that's kind of like
that anyway.
Right. But I'm saying like, even if I felt justified, like there's part of it where I do have to hold him accountable. Like, yo, this is unacceptable. I don't understand. And I kept saying that, like, I don't understand why it's not the same way we left it. Yeah. Like, this is not like you're getting paid to do a job at the end of the day,
right?
Like,
and that's the thing. Like, it's not like we hold people accountable,
right?
But it's just like not letting it get us frustrated to where now we're emotionally annoyed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that's where it turns into a whole nother thing,
and you can project that out.
Yeah, and it becomes contagious.
Yeah,
you know, we've seen that.
Yeah,
happen before.
Yep, but we got through it. We got through the show. And, you know, the beauty of this trip was beauty, and it was a gift and a curse because we wanted to get home, you know, Thanksgiving weekend, but we didn't have an early flight on Sunday. So, you know, we got to sit
a little bit
for a little bit and then fly back.
That's right.
Yeah. I needed that sleep.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, it was.
We got to sleep in that Sunday morning.
Yeah. I sat by the pool for like an hour. Me and Moan chilled over there for a couple minutes, and then
that gym was nice.
I was gonna say that's where y'all worked out at.
Yeah, that's where he worked out at. Yeah, but it was cool, man. It was cool. We're going into December now. Got a few ones to do. One in Philly. We're going to be at the City Winery in Philly on December 23rd, and then December 29th in Chicago at the City Winery there. So, you know, looking forward to 2022. Y'all looking forward to that?
2022.
I'm looking forward to it. I have a son being born. So.
That's right. That's right, man.
I was going to ask a question about the music thing, though.
Yeah.
Like, you guys been doing this for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Does it frustrate you, like your love for it? Like, what you thought it was? Like, what you guys thought it was when you guys started, like a manager doing this thing. Is it... And I get like the economic part of it. But I'm talking about like you're talking about like dealing with the frustrating part because you still have to gear yourself up to be like, listen, guys, we're not gonna lose our temper.
Yeah, you
still have to condition yourself. I'm asking, with now that you know what you know, is it something that you would have as a younger self? What would you tell your younger self about it? You know,
what would I tell my younger self? I would tell my younger self like,
it's not what you think.
It's not what you think.
Yeah. But not in a way where it's like, hey, don't do this. Right, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because you can't...
Or prepare yourself the shortcomings of people. Yeah. Because like he's saying, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
For us, we know that it's not just something that we want to do. Like, it's actually God ordained. So like... And it's God ordained to do it in the way we're doing it, which is not easy. You know? Because think about this. Like, we're going in... Like, this is the way the world works. Markets, right? Everything... Markets are about agreements. You give money, right? The people pay, right? The promoters pay us and pay the venue, right? But it's all about agreements. The place has to make an agreement with the promoter. We got to make an agreement with the promoter that's ultimately an agreement with the people and the land, you know? And so it's all about agreements, which is covenant, right? But you can't get caught up in them not upholding their end because you're dealing with the world. You know what I mean? People are going to be disrespectful. People are going to try to get over. Yeah. And it's just like understanding that and learning that really. Because the thing is, like, you can't do it. Like, how can I, when I feel offended about something, how can I not feel offended about it? I feel offended. So Like, we're not telling people you can't feel offended, because then all you do is just suppress those feelings.
Right.
That's not good either.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we can't, because then we're lying to ourselves. No, we're good. That don't even affect us.
Right.
You know, but we're just suppressing it.
No, what it is we all come together on one accord and realize when someone is in their frustration, and we say, all right, let's break that.
Let's pray.
Pick up on it.
Yeah.
Let's give
up on
that.
Let's pull them out of it,
Yeah.
so that we don't all end up, because we'll all get pulled down or they'll get pulled up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's easier to pull one up than for all of us to get pulled down there. Then we're at the mercy of whatever's going on. You know, and that we've
Now it's
let
a
that
story.
happen before and watched things spiral out of control, where it's like there's no coming back from this. You know?
Right. It's so funny that the average, when you pay your money to go see a concert, right? You have no idea what's happening, the chaos.
People
that's back
have
there.
no concept of what it takes to put on a show. I'm talking about even a lot of these promoters that
Yeah.
book us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. So you're dealing with someone who wants to do a show because they think it's they think it's going to be a fun, quick way to make some money.
I think
Bringing
the money
some
thing
art-
comes first.
Yeah.
Like, so most of these guys, they got a little bit of money. Don't know how they got it, but
Right.
they got a little bit of money. So they wanna be that dude.
Yeah.
They want to show off.
Right.
Right. They want to be the it dude.
Right.
You know. So that's a whole mentality.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with that mentality a lot of times. You know.
Yeah, because if you see, like, most of the shows that we do, especially like in a lot of the country places, like, the promoter is always super flashy, like like pimped out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Well, we know how they got the money then.
right. But what it is you notice that they have no real concept of what it takes to pull off a show, especially one like that with like 5-6 major artists. You know what I mean? And luckily, it was only 2 bands. Us and Monica's were the only bands. The rest of them did like tracks, because otherwise it would have been even more chaotic. Like,
But you don't know that until you get there. You don't know what, like, say you know who's on the billing, right? But you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
sometimes
know
it's
that
in,
set up too?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A lot of times that's all dealt with ahead of time.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I have to deal with all of that stuff because I handle that for the organization. So, like, when I talk to the sound guys, when I talk to the backline people, we're all in conversation with, all right, this is what they're using. This is what Drew Hill's doing. This is the sound check format. So, because all of that needs to be worked out, you know, before you get there, because otherwise it's going to be even more chaos than what it was. So, yeah, a lot of times you know who's got a band, who doesn't have a band.
Is this why, like, when a music act goes on tour, they take the buses with their own stuff?
Yep.
So
a lot
they
of
can
times.
avoid-
It's the same every time.
It's much easier. You have the same crew every time, the same equipment every time. The techs ride with you.
And even before they go out, they practice.
Yeah.
Or they do rehearsals. You know, beforehand.
Same outcome.
Yeah. So you know what you're dealing with every city you go to. But again, that's not always feasible for everybody unless you have a big enough draw to have multi-city venues lined up in advance. So a lot of times people are doing what like Freddie's doing now, which is like you get booked by the booking agent from a promoter who's trying to do a show and wants to get some artists. So he calls the agency and they find who's in the price range. And you know what I mean? It ends up being like that. It's like, okay, well, I can get you Freddie Jackson for this amount. And also you can get Drew Hill and blah, you know what I mean? So they'll get all these artists in and then work out how much, because they have to pay for so many things, which is like hotels, flights, food, travel from the airport. They have to hire, we had to get a Sprinter van, car services for everybody.
yeah.
It's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
And you guys are not taking equipment, by the way.
no, we don't fly with anything except like the guitar and bass player take their guitar and bass, because you're not going to just play a random, you get used to your instrument. So you're not just going to, but some bands that we have worked with do also have that in their backline where they show up and it's a bass sitting there for them. You know what I mean? But, most people want to play their own bass.
Right.
But as far as like keyboards, all the other drums, all the amps and speakers and all of that. Yeah, we don't travel with any of that. It's all provided by the backline. So all of that needs to be rented. All of that costs money.
I'm getting anxiety just listening.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I like people, when people always like ask us, so you get it from people all the time, like, oh, how much would it cost for you guys to come sing at blah, blah, blah. It's like,
Noel.
yeah,
it's hard to even answer because
you have no idea what that means. You know what I mean? You have no idea what you're asking. You know what I mean? It's like,
because then if you tell them half of that, they're surprised.
Right.
Really?
Right.
You know what I mean?
They're thinking Mike and the hookup.
Exactly. That's what most people think. Oh, we should get some artists in here to perform. A lot of venues do that. Look at the winery that we played so many times. It's like, they want to do events, but they don't. They want to half-ass buy equipment. They want to half-ass have a stage, and it's like, so we end up bringing our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I had to rent a stage for how much to do our 20th anniversary, because it's like they don't have a stage.
Right.
They have a little piece of wood on the floor that's like fits 4 of us. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, all of that goes into these shows, the dynamics.
Does that stress you guys out? Like when you're done, like you're driving home or flying home, you're like,
sometimes you do have that, like when it's all over, because it is like from the moment you land, we're always like, boom.
It's warfare.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you think about it, it's war. Why are we there? You know what I mean? Like we're there for a reason. Like every time something happens, right?
Yeah.
Especially like lately.
Yeah.
This year.
Since COVID ended, there hasn't been a show.
Right.
There has not been a show that was smooth, except for maybe Saquon. Saquon was like the only one that like we had no issues.
Right. But it's always warfare.
Yeah.
Usually, but that's because there's an opportunity there.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, if you get caught up in the frustration, in the stress of it, you'll miss what God is doing.
Right.
And because we come out of it stronger.
Yeah.
We come out of it like, wow, like with more love.
Right.
Not just for what we're doing, but also for one another.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a beautiful, we come out with seeing the beauty in it. And I think that's the, like, when you're caught up in the frustration, and that's what most artists are like, I deserve this, I deserve that.
Yeah. Yep.
And they're seeing it.
The Drew Hill's road manager,
Right.
He was telling me about, Cisco being pissed off because the promoter doesn't understand how an event like this should work, and the stage that he bought was really small. So he buys a really small stage for all these bands, and now that when Drew Hill got to perform, there's like a small sliver of room for them to do all their dance moves and sing and everything.
Right.
So they're pissed. You know what I mean? And their road manager was pissed. Like everybody was pissed off. But
what are we doing? Like we're going there for people, right?
Yeah.
And if we're just like, if we're giving them something that's going to keep them where they're at, then that's pointless. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you can give them a frequency, and I know this sounds a little weird, but if you
Right.
look at just science, like we resonate at different frequencies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you can cultivate a sound that goes out to the people and taps into you feel it. You know what I mean?
You feel the energy
You feel
change
it.
too.
Yep.
We had a situation like that. I mean, I'm just going to go into it for a little bit because it also speaks to what also helps us is that we have an organization with maybe not everybody, but our core unit, like our band and like our core people, like Stan, Rachel, everybody, we're all on the same page with this stuff. So we understand like what we're walking into. We understand what the objective is. So when we do see things starting to be unorganized or be frustrating, we don't have a bunch of people that are just in their feelings. We have people that are like, all right, their patience is already set up to deal with that. Their understanding is already to like, all right, if things are like when we were in Chicago, when we were in Atlanta and the Shaka Khan show, and that was like one of the worst, situations I could think of in years that we had as far as like sound check, just energy, vibe, just like demeanor. And it got to the point where it was so bad that, Rachel just went out in the audience and just started praying, you know what I mean? Like through the crowd, because it was just like, I got to do something to change this energy, and it ended up working to the point where the whole, like we all got on the same page. We all realized what was happening. And then next thing you know, Freddie's getting a standing ovation. You know, and
even though like that's what people don't understand. Even though it looks like something else, you can't really see what's happening spiritually. Like that's what you don't know what's happening in the deep. You know what I mean? Like people might perceive it in a different way. It's like when you get a word, you know, a prophetic word, right?
Yeah.
You hear that word, you're gonna interpret it the way you're hearing it or feeling it.
Right.
Right. But what happens with that word is it becomes tested through faith, right? So you get a word from God, but then it goes through the fire, right? And it's all how we have to reconcile that word with God. So a word is a seed, right? So when we're doing these things, we're planting seeds, right? And it's people who are connected to that seed, right? It might take a while, but it's something that's there. And eventually, like if they hold on to it, it's gonna start to blossom, you know. And sometimes it takes time. And Rachel can tell you that, like when she started coming around us, she wasn't trying to hear what we had to say, right? But
it's like, why you put me on the spot?
No.
Sorry, to be honest.
But to see her, you know, then like she's doing the things that like kind of blowing my mind, like
or maybe made it sound like might have sounded crazy or woo woo to you at the time when you first met us.
Yeah. But now she's like, because she's like now honoring that, you know what I mean? She's in it in a way there. She's affecting things, you know? Yeah. So it's just crazy to see how things can change. And a lot of times we want to look at like what we see on the outside.
Right.
You know? But prayer and the spirit realm is all about what you can't see.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's literally about shifting that frequency, not being drawn into that lower resonance and being brought back up to where you're supposed to be, where God wants you to be.
That's what Paul just said. Y'all out there shifting atmospheres.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we always felt like that with our music, but God is showing us even more with the when we're out there with Freddie, because it's not our music.
Right.
It's just about us being there.
Yeah.
And like
to support him in a way where we're uplifting what he does.
Yeah.
But reconciling it back to God. And that's kind of hard for a religious mind to do.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And even with us, that's breaking our mentality. Because it's like, oh, God wants us here. You know, he's spoken. I'm like, but it don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the beauty of trust and the beauty of faith. Like, we've been doing what we're doing, and it's been faith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't know what we're doing. And a lot of people look at what we're doing and like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Oh, you still doing that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't get it a lot of times. But we know that God called us to this thing, you know, and it's something that's being cultivated in us. But we can be jaded, like you were saying, you know, if you get caught up in all the stuff that you don't see, what you think you should see because of the way you thought it was.
Or what you think I'm entitled to. Like,
well, what I'm saying is what James talked about. Like, what would you tell yourself back then?
Yeah.
If we get stuck in the way I thought back then, and I don't trust in God to bring me to the place he wants me to be, I don't see it the way God. He might say something to me. Like I said, he brings a word, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see it the way he's saying it. You see it the way you interpret it, right? So then when I don't see it the way I think it is, now I'm becoming bitter. Right? And it's learning how to give that bitterness to him. You know what I mean? Give that jaded feeling to him, where I'm starting to feel jaded and bitter because I don't see it the way I thought it was supposed to be.
Right.
And catching it in that moment too.
Yeah.
I think going along with, you know, praying wherever you are. If you miss that moment, you miss the chance.
That was the
affect.
opportunity.
Right.
It was literally was an opportunity right there in front of you.
Yeah. Do you guys mentor like young artists to help them with this? Because I think, you know, one of the things the point is like when you're younger, there's like a bright-eyed, bushy tail. A fantasy almost. Like you think this is what it's gonna be.
Right.
And what you guys have learned, like as your career is moving on or whatever it is, like bringing young artists, teach them this. So they see, are they willing or?
It's all about them. They have to be willing.
You got it.
Know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like it's hard with young artists because they're all chasing the same thing we were at that time.
Even
you know what
worse.
I mean? And it's even worse now. So it's like for you to try to like crush them on that,
Yeah.
they
And
don't
you
want to
gotta give him. You gotta give him a little grace period because,
Yeah.
they're young. They might not.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like you try to mentor them in a way where it's like, you can help them with some of the pitfalls, but ultimately, they're gonna do what they want to do. So it's it's not easy. It's not easy.
I think to mentor somebody is like they're taking the wisdom that you have that came from your heart being open, right?
Mm-hmm.
So their heart has to be open. Like you can't take if you take somebody's knowledge without the meaning behind it, then it's empty. Like people will go, I want to know how you, but really they just want it for their own selfish reasons. But there's really a meaning behind that. See, now that becomes the wisdom.
Right.
And a lot of people, that's the process, right? That's like, people taking you through like apprenticeship or any of that stuff. Like you have to learn why they did it. That's the most important thing. It's really not the skill. It's why they did it, which cultivates that skill and brings it to like the beauty of it. Kind of like you and your dad. You know what I mean?
Right, but the thing that makes it even more challenging for us is that when people look at someone they want as a mentor, there's always something that they've achieved that they want. They want to attain
they're
that.
a little enamorment. Where they're like,
so it's like I want to be as good as you. You have this, or you're this. So it's an idea of success. So it's like if someone doesn't look at us as success,
they're not gonna listen.
they're not that we have nothing to give them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
nothing of value to them.
That's what I'm saying. Like they don't see it as we have anything to give. Right.
Are you
So
making
they would rather listen to Cisco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're associating success with monetary fame.
Fame, money, women, whatever you call it. But so there has to be something that they want in order, like in the form of success, that they're willing to be mentored by you. So I think that's what makes it even more challenging to mentor younger artists, is because, they're going to look at us and be like, y'all still like, y'all ain't rich. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah. But there are people who I think that's the problem, and that's what we're here to do. Like, think about it, man. Like, anybody can sing, right? Like, not anybody can sing, but I mean those who can sing and those who can do it really well. What's going to separate them? It's all about where you're giving your praise to, right? And because it's so funny, we were looking at Monica's.
We were watching their whole rehearsal,
right. But they're back there
for 3 hours.
But they're background singers, right?
Who showed up 2 hours late, and then
right, yeah. So there was an air of arrogance, right, to it,
right.
And they're on stage, right? Beautiful voices,
right?
Beautiful in the way where they're doing everything right that you see,
right?
But what we're looking at is what most people ain't looking at,
right?
And that's their hearts, right? Because there's three of them, like us three. So when each one of them were singing lead, right? So the one singing lead and the other ones are just sitting there like,
what it was this was their chance to showcase.
So they're all praising one another,
right?
But really just praising themselves, right? And they're only praising one another because they want the praise for themselves,
right?
And that's not accusation. That's an observation, right? I'm not saying that's but
that's what everyone does.
That is normal,
right? That's
in
the
this
normal
industry. It's not, and that's the phoniness of the industry,
right? It's like, look what I can do,
right? Look at and then people praising you, but really intimidated by you when they have no reason to be.
Right.
We've experienced that so much, but when that's a whole different mentality in a lower frequency. So when you're out there and you're doing that, you're putting that into the world. You're putting that into the atmosphere, right? And then everybody out there, and you look, and it's a shame because most, like, our people, we're looking at what people can do.
We want to see the tricks,
right? We're looking at what they can do,
right?
But that doesn't mean anything. Because if you can do it without having the meaning behind it, then it's meaningless. Right? So they're all like, oh, look at him. Oh, he's killing it. Right?
Killing it.
And we got caught up in that. We were caught up in that for a while, right?
Yep.
Trying to woo.
Trying to be the killer.
Woo, woo,
Yeah,
woo.
right.
You know what I mean? But realizing, like, where's your meaning?
Right.
You know? Where's your essence?
Right.
You know what I mean?
What's your motivation?
What's your motivation? Because that's what you're going to project
Yeah.
into the world. Are we going to keep people in that state of mind? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or are we going to put something else out there?
Hmm.
You know, and that changes it. Now what are we doing? We're shining, but we're not shining with our own light, bringing glory to ourselves, or bringing praise to ourselves. We're shining with the light of God, bringing praise to Him.
To Him, yeah.
And that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And that takes a humbling. You know what I mean? It took us a while to learn that.
All of that desiring you to be the guy has to die.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the thing.
That's the process.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying all that is because that's how hard it is. Like, it's hard. You got to go through a lot so you can get out all that ego in you.
Right.
Right. You got to go through a lot because they why don't they see me?
Right.
Why don't they, you know? And it's like, guys, like, they don't need to see you in that way. You keep trying to get them to see you. You keep trying to show yourself approved to them. No, show yourself approved to me. And whenever we feel that way, we give ourselves to God, and then He gives it back to us in order. You know what I mean? We gotta give it up to Him. That's our emotions.
They're crushing. And I think that opportunity came along to, you know, succumb to those feelings or give up to those feelings. You know, we were in New York many times.
So many times.
And
so many
could have
situations.
went this way, you could have went that way.
Right.
But it's
You're
like
talking about in meetings with major labels.
Yeah, but even in LA, even on MTV, I was talking to Rob was asking me about that experience, and I was explaining to him like how that all worked, and like we were talking about how, you know, these things are designed to get you to go down a path into destruction. Like they're literally designed that way to get you to compromise on who you are in order to I think that's what people don't understand. Like when they talk about selling your soul, when they talk about, you know, sacrificing yourself for the Illuminati or whatever, they talk, you know, these conspiracy things. I think it's more about every decision that you make where you compromise yourself for the goal of this dream that you want to attain.
Right.
And you're like, all right, I'll make this decision to compromise myself here. And then once you start going down that road, before you know it, you didn't sold your whole self out.
Yeah.
And you know, you have nothing left, and then that's why you see these people attain this fame and this wealth, and everyone loves them, but they're miserable. They're miserable.
Hiding under the table.
They're not satisfied.
Or they're being attacked by all of these thoughts, or you know, they just can't. They can't ever feel settled because they know deep down inside all of those decisions. You know what I mean?
Right. And a lot of them, and us, we deal with artists who, you know, have had some level of fame. So you see, like, a lot of times people have no guard.
Yeah.
They just let in anything that feels good. They just let in any spirit that makes them feel good, and they think it's good.
So whoever praises them is their best friend.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Right. And it's just going with the flow.
Paul said feeding spirits versus feeding egos. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But you're right. Like we had, and don't get me wrong. Like there's been plenty of opportunities where we're like, we'll give up a little shave of who we are for this, but we're not going. We weren't willing to go all the way. It was like, you know, certain times where it was like, okay, well, we can compromise a little bit. Like, let's do that.
And then you realize, like, those little compromises cause you to be in a false reality.
Right.
Like we used to lie about our age and then
that's
actually
one of them.
believe we were
That's
that
one of them.
age.
Yeah.
Like because you do it so much.
Right.
Then you start believing this lie. It's
Because
like,
you're told, like,
Why do they do that though?
dude, it's literally the dumbest thing ever because they believe that younger girls are the market that you want to attract. So you have to. So it's literally like some weird, creepy pedophile type behavior. Like you're told to lie about your age so that you can get younger women to fall in love with you, basically.
I
You know what
remember lying so much that I forgot how old I was.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yo,
saying.
Yeah.
How old am I?
Yeah, all of us.
How-
like we
how
just
old
be
am
like,
I really?
how old am I
Yeah.
really?
So
Yeah.
how would that happen though? They would the managers done with you, the record label, who determines that?
It's just like one of those small things that you don't think nothing about. It's like, just say y'all are 19,
Yeah.
because it sounds better. You know what I mean? It's
But
like
this is when you would do radio interviews.
this is when we first started. Like I remember Dave saying like, "Yo, just tell everybody you're 19." You know what I mean?
Okay,
You
but
know.
you weren't 19.
No, I was 22 at the time.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like a huge lie. It was like, okay, shave a couple years off. It's not no big deal. You know what I mean? Like you don't think about it. It's just like one of those things. Like, hey, everybody does that.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
But then as we doing it, and then it's like when you're in it and you're like, yo, I can't remember my age, for real. And it's like you start realizing this stuff really affects you.
Right. That's why
Right?
everyone jokes about like how old artists really are, because they all lie about it. They
Yeah.
all lie about it.
But that becomes the industry standard.
Yeah.
And what's a standard? A standard is a law, right?
Right.
So we got to break that standard.
Yeah.
We got to change things. So people want to like. What happens is, and this is my point with culture and like, if you don't deal with the standard, you're gonna just make a subculture. You're gonna make a substandard, a subculture, but you'll never affect the real culture.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with the church. The church gets bitter and jaded, and they get out of the world, right? Because there's warfare there.
Right.
There's warfare, because that's who's
Right.
controlling things.
So they go back to home base.
Right. So they remove themselves out of it,
Yeah.
and then you're lying to yourself saying you're doing something when you're really not. You're
Right.
not really
And then wonder
affecting
what
anything.
happened.
Yeah.
How did it get
Yeah.
like this?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Because you
No.
keep giving up
Because
ground.
you ain't
Yeah.
there.
You keep
That's what
literally
happened.
giving up ground little by little by little, and then you're
And giving up ground isn't necessarily surrendering; it's removing yourself.
Yeah.
I don't want to participate.
yeah, no, that's not for us. Let them have that.
Right.
TV.
But you did surrender.
Yeah,
You did. Yeah,
You know, what I mean?
ultimately
You surrendered in your mind.
You did.
Yeah.
You know
You
what
think
I
you did.
Yeah,
You think you didn't, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So the other thing I was going to ask is, as far as like your music goes, right? Like, have artists done it without? Because you guys are in the R&B, kind of like you were in the R&B,
right.
But like, not all artists have to lie about the age, right? It's like more or less like that genre. You're
I was
in.
gonna
No,
say that.
That's not true.
I was
think
going to
it's-
ask if rock has ever. I don't know.
Yeah, they do.
I know
it's,
R&B
it's
is heavy,
always
but-
it's always the ones that they want to market to the young teenagers. So it's like if you're Hootie and the Blowfish, you ain't got to lie about it. Dave Matthews Band didn't have to lie.
okay, I got you.
So it's like it's about where they want to place you in the market. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
So
if
they
they
specifically do it because they know teenage girls are emotional by music. Blah blah. blah.
100%. Who are the ones that pass out and scream and chase vans and
just talking about Elvis.
Who are the ones that do that?
Yeah.
It's young women. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they know that that's their biggest market base.
Right.
So if they can do anything they can do to make you more sellable to that base, they're going to do it.
Right.
So you look at it, it's like people always kind of mistake money as the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but I don't love money. Yeah, but you love what you want to. You've been conditioned to desire
Right.
this thing, right?
Right.
You might even lie to yourself a little bit, like, I don't really want money. I just want to be this thing,
Right,
right?
right.
That's been programmed in me,
Right, right,
a lot of times, right? But that's connected to money. That's connected to that's connected to the market,
Right.
So you really do love money,
Right.
Because it's how it controls you,
Right.
And it's pulled you into that market.
It's you can't serve two masters,
Right.
right? So you're
Right.
serving the money, you're serving the market,
Right.
Are
You're
you
serving
are
the
you
market.
are you compromising on what God says to do so you can
Right.
serve the market? Then you're serving
Right.
the market.
Your desire draws you into that market.
Right.
To where now you're being moved and controlled.
Yeah,
Right. And so that's where you have to, okay, how can I come into an industry, right, and change the marketing?
right.
Change the way change that market,
Yeah.
right? That's a whole different way. Because market, again, it's all about agreement. It's covenant.
Yeah.
Right? It's just how we view that covenant. Are we gonna make agreements with bad desires or good desires? So when we get in it, you know, what we realized was, oh, this isn't what we thought it was, right? This isn't, that's where Find My Way came from, you know what I mean?
Right.
Is we started realizing, like, this ain't what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And
The
lot
function of
stuff,
the industry you're talking
right?
about.
And even like how we functioned in it.
Just even like, and also even the concept of being successful and famous and
Like the feeling.
what that means.
Just to go back, what did you guys thought it meant? Like when you were coming out,
We thought, well, ultimately, what everyone thinks, you think it means happiness for you.
right?
You know what I mean? You think it means like
Live your dreams.
a purpose for you, or you think it means like it's like it's gonna validate you somehow. You know, and then so when you start really getting a peek behind the curtain and you see that it's a little man back there pretending to be the wizard,
Right.
you realize, okay, this is all an illusion.
Or when you realize that you're giving up little parts of yourself to agree with this thing, right? Because that's what happens. Like Jamie said, like you give up parts of yourself.
Yeah.
Like us just lying about our age, we're giving up a part of ourselves, and then we're realizing, like, we'll talk like, we don't even know, and we'll laugh about it. But then it's like, I know me, I'm like, that's not right.
Right.
You know what I mean? You start thinking about these things.
Even like the music
Like,
we were writing, the stuff we were writing about, like all of that was giving
Right.
up parts of ourselves.
Then you're talking to people, and you have mom comes up to us, little girls, with her little girl, and she's like, she loves your music. She loves this one song. It's all about sex, and I'm like, that's something
that's
ain't
weird.
right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
You start questioning. Then you're realizing, like, maybe I didn't think this all the way through.
Right.
Maybe my desires superseded.
Or maybe I've been programmed to desire this.
Right.
Maybe I've been, idolizing the wrong things
Yeah.
and and now I'm chasing my own golden calf. You know what I mean? Type thing.
Yeah.
So you start to realize, and I think for at least for the four of us, we all were coming to that understanding at the same time. Maybe the others really weren't on that page, but
I mean, when we were going through it, I remember we were all on tour.
Yeah.
Right. And we're like playing in front of crowds of 10,000, 5,000.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Right. It was cool,
Right.
but it didn't. Something was off.
Yeah.
For me, and I knew something was missing. That's why the song "Find My Way" is. There's another part of me that I never let anybody see because I'm always trying to be what they want to keep them loving me. See, it's like that's how I felt deep inside of me.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
The song brought that out. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I wrote something that was in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't know I felt that way, but as I wrote the song, it revealed to me how I really felt.
Right.
And that's what caused me to like actually start reading the Bible more.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Seeking God more.
Yeah.
Right. I think we just don't understand, not the wizardry, but
It is wizardry, though.
Yeah.
You're right. That is the word.
Yeah.
it's like, we think it's magical because we immediately place ourselves, I would love to be like that. I remember watching this movie a long time ago. It's called Hollywood Shuffle with Robert Townsend.
Yeah, I know that movie.
And in that movie, there's a scene where there's this character. He's like a kind of goofy character, and he has like a show. And in the show, he's like very silly and goofy. He's a goofball. But when the cameras are done and he comes back to the hood, he's like a gangster. He got like hoes. And he's like not that guy.
Right.
And people are expecting that guy, and I'm like, wow,
He's playing a role.
And that's the whole point of that scene, was to show that whatever he's on TV, he's not that.
Whenever you watch like these well done music industry movies, there's always that element of like people pretending, because it really is mostly an illusion, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
I think people that consume
fake it till you make it.
yeah,
Right.
people
And then
that
you
consume
just
music
fake.
as entertainment They don't understand how much of it is being fed to them as this
Right.
illusion so that you want to buy into
Right.
it.
And that the artists, like you just said, about your age,
Yeah.
can buy into it too.
They do
believe that.
because they want to attain
Right.
the fame so they're willing to compromise on things so that you will come to their shows and love them. And then the labels and the managers, they're all trying to set up a scenario where you love them. So it's all this weird dynamic,
And then now you're dependent on that love.
right.
You're dependent. Now you're a slave to that love,
Yep.
which isn't really your real love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
then
you see it all the time. Artists that when they go out there, if they go out in front of, it could be if they go out in front of 10,000 people and barely anybody claps, immediately they want to go home. They're done. You know what I mean? Because it's like they constantly just need
feeding off of that.
They only feed off of that energy.
Right. I mean,
know?
that is embarrassing. Nobody.
Well, I'm just saying, because it's never about I'm gonna win them over at that
Right,
point.
right,
It's
yeah.
like,
You should like me.
yeah,
That's like the Island Boy.
the Island
They did a
Boy.
little concert,
Yeah,
and then people were just like booing them,
yeah.
and they were like performing, but it was like awkward.
Yeah,
Really?
I think they don't and nowadays it's a lot different too because you look at the way the Island what is their name? I don't know. It's not Island Boys. That's just the name of the song they did,
Yeah.
Right.
But-
Red Soldier and Fly Soldier, something like that.
something like that. But when you watch how they blew up because people were making fun of them, they didn't blow up because
It was good.
they're just great artists, So then when they think oh, we getting all this shine, boom, all these followers.
Even that is good.
People are following you to watch the train wreck. So
Right,
when you
right.
get on stage, they're gonna continue that energy.
Dance, monkey.
Yeah. And they want to see you make a fool of yourself. So
So the motive is bad.
Yeah.
You know?
The foundation.
But they're trying to feed on it, even though it's bad for them. It's
yeah.
still.
Well, that's the one dude said he sold his soul to the devil.
Oh,
you know? But yeah, it definitely is not what people think it is.
Yeah. I think that's not understanding how it's orchestrated, how it's put together.
Yeah.
Because from the public eye, from what I see, we don't know what's going on backstage.
Right, right.
I mean, I'm assuming that it happens across, but certain genres, I think it happens more, like the R&B world.
Yeah.
Because it's divaism and
Well, it's R&B and pop, really, because when you think about NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, New Kids on the Block, Justin Bieber, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Well,
You
even
know.
rock,
Yeah, it does happen with the young rock bands.
it's just a different way. But
Yeah.
it's still there.
the element is still there.
yeah.
But I think that's why. So then people the conspiracies start to come in, and the like you were saying, it's the magic, right? That's the mystifying part of it, where it's oh, they sold their soul,
Yeah.
to us, it's you know what I mean, because there's a process.
Yeah.
You know what's
But
funny?
it's not the actual selling of the soul, but you're saying it's about the compromises, the small compromises.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, this is not even me.
It's not
Right.
me.
You're right.
And yeah, it's
And it's not what people think with all the symbology, Illuminati, they're devil worshippers because I was watching a podcast with who was it? Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. I think it was Lazy Bone or Crazy Bone. One of the bones. One of the bones was on a podcast, and he was talking about their first album when it came out and how everything was blown up so fast for them because Eazy-E put them on or whatever. And I remember him saying when someone showed them the artwork for the album, it was just oh yeah, that's dope. They didn't even know why they liked it. It was just, it looked cool. They didn't know what, but now people are saying that they sold out to the Illuminati because it was a goat head and all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he was yo, I
That's a
didn't even
good
know what
point.
that was. You know what I
That's
mean?
a good
He's
point.
someone
Yeah.
made this
That's a good
artwork,
point.
and I
But
just
who
thought
made that artwork?
Right.
Yeah.
So he's I felt like I was being used as a puppet to push an idea, even that the idea of Bone Thugs and Harmony, the idea of what they were about and the evilness, because they used to have this weird kind of demonic kind of vibe in their early stuff. But that was more pushed from the people around them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were just rapping about what they
That's a good
rapped
point.
about.
That's a good
you
point.
know?
I think you don't know,
But you think it looks cool,
Right,
so you're
right,
like, oh
right,
yeah,
right.
that's cool. We can
Right.
identify with
Especially
that.
when somebody's been validated, like, oh, this is
Yeah.
James. He's the graphic artist. He does everybody. So he's
exactly.
already sold to you,
Exactly.
or sold to the members as, yo, this is the guy. He's the stylist. He's the this. He's
That's
the.
how we ended up in holsters, man.
I thought you guys like Matlock. No, but I think that's what it is. I think you get. You know, I'm learning that with Dylan, right? Like right now, where Dylan is my new partner, and Dylan's like, "Yo, we need this.
Yeah.
We need this." He's just started with me, and he's like, "We need all of these things." I'm like, "Dylan, calm down." Like there was this thing he showed me, right? It's a $5,000 tool. It's for drywall. I was like, "You haven't even learned how to tape yet."
Right.
Like he's ready to go to like the next level. Like, start with the basics, man. You know, and then I try to pull him back. Like, listen, I need you to get these things first. And I think you're right. I think once someone comes in, because how did he see it? Someone, you know, try to sell him on like, you know,
Yeah.
this
Gotta
thing.
start with the milk, man, before you
Yeah.
eat that meat.
Yeah.
I think you get lost in someone validated someone and said this is the guy, and you whatever they do, that's you never question it.
And when you're coming into something, because I've heard Snoop Dogg talk about this too, like when you're coming into something, you're 18, 19 years old, and you're just hanging around dudes that are superstars, and you just want to be in, you know, you're going to go along with whatever they say. They're going to be like, nah, you need to do this. You need to have this out. You're going to be like, okay, cool.
Someone
I don't know.
put that up, and it was like a collage of artists, and they all had their hand over their eye.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, do they all know they're just doing that? Because it was like, but it was an artist from like the '60s all the way to now, and they're all doing the same thing. The hand on the chin. It's like,
and
is that the
it
go-to
probably
thing,
and
or?
it could mean something, you know, to the people that are the ones that are choosing to use that photo. But I'm telling you, like from our experience at photo shoots, they're just telling you, all right, now do this. All right, now do that. Okay,
Yeah.
now put one hand over your eye. Okay, now jump in the air and kick your legs out. Okay, now you know what I mean.
Right,
and you
right,
just
right.
do it because
That's
you're
probably
like,
what it is.
you know,
a lot of times.
But then for them to choose that photo as the one where you see it over and over and over again, it's like, okay,
yeah, because it was
they're
really
signaling
I
something.
said it was like a ton. It was like
Yeah,
a
they do
ton
it
of
all the
people
time,
doing it.
covering the eye. You know,
But
yeah.
it's conditioning, like you said, Jamie. They tell you to do these things, and then for us, as the quote unquote artist, you just listen.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
gonna say no. Hey, I don't agree with that.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, whatever you say, you're in charge. But later on, we're like, we started to be like,
Nah.
why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why am I going to do that?
Right.
And because it doesn't sound good.
David, they're hard to work with.
Yeah, and that's what it turns into.
That's what it is. You don't
That's what
wanna
it
be-
turns
yeah,
into.
right.
It's like, oh, you're difficult. You're, you know.
So they shame you into like,
Yeah.
and try to like force you into being a certain way.
Right.
And then when you don't want to give up your everything, you know, your rights to have this little BS deal,
Right.
You know what I mean? Then they're like, oh, they're hard to
Because they
work
pick
with.
they pick it for you, right?
Yeah.
Don't they pick the stylist? They pick the
Yeah, they pick. You don't have any control over any of that, and until like later on in your career when you have a say, you know. But when you're
Can't bring
first
Stan
coming,
on. Stan's my stylist.
When we used to go into meetings, right?
Yeah.
This used to always happen. We would go into meetings. They would talk to us, tell us what they wanted to do
Yeah.
or what they were seeing,
Their ideas,
or they
or-
just
yeah.
want to talk their
Yeah.
ish, and we just sit there and just listen. And a lot of times it was like I was already done because I don't want to have no parts of it.
Right.
So they're always like, man, can't get a read on you guys.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
like y'all excited?
are y'all good?
Are y'all excited?
Are you-
I
you
mean, we
good?
can't
Like-
can't really get a read on you. Like,
Yeah.
and we'd be like, yeah, we cool.
And I know that's like to people that frustrates them
Yeah.
because they don't get the reaction that they normally get.
Yeah.
You know, and to us it was frustrating because it's like we didn't want that.
Yeah.
You know, the way they're talking.
Right.
So it's like you keep going through these meetings that are the same, and
You start realizing, like, do we really want to be in this?
Do we need
in this nonsense?
And that's what God was showing us. Like, it's not going to come from here.
You're right.
It's not going to come from them.
Right.
Stop looking to all these
Right,
people,
right.
and let me cultivate it in you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember when we were on MTV. I was talking to Rob about this with Moan there. Like, it got to the point where the producers just knew we weren't going to give them anything, and like because we never we never compromised on anything. Like they would try to get us to go into certain areas or like talk about each other or like get any kind of drama, and they could never get it from us. And I remember I was talking to the assistant to the executive producer. She was telling me like, yeah, the executives, they really didn't like you guys. They thought you were boring. You had no story. You didn't give them anything. So they like, that's why like the first episode, they made us go on last, and like, they thought we were like
Screw you guys.
a waste. You know what I mean?
Jatan in the parking lot.
Right. But then like after the reaction and like after the audience response to us, they put us on first. Then we were on all the promo material on the website, like all the promos for the show the next week. We were the the ones on there.
You remember a show in the 90s? It was called Behind the Music?
Yeah.
When it first came out?
Yeah.
I think too, like people love worshiping people, but they love seeing people fall and crash.
Yeah.
It's just like as much as they're obsessed with being a fan, they're obsessed with seeing, because that show was just all about like death and money loss and friendships.
Right.
And
That's why people like reality shows.
yeah, I think so. Because everything was always negative on that show, and I think people just, there's a sort of like wonderment of what could go wrong, and then watching, you see, you ain't that good.
Yeah,
Like,
it's about like I've propped this person up for so long. Now I want to see them fall, so that I feel
it's the
they feel
Temptation
human
story.
again. Yeah,
because they were clean cut guys. When they presented themselves that way.
Yeah.
and then when you watch the backstory of all the characters, you're like, wow, this
Yeah.
is way more chaotic than I thought.
definitely.
To me, it's always like, do I want to be a part of this?
Yeah.
You know, like you start thinking like, yo, I don't want this to happen to us.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna put our trust in God.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even saying that, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
You know,
Yeah.
and we learn what that means as we go.
Still
through
learning,
it.
right?
Still learning, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to baby boy Lawrence Green. He's in
Baby
the chat.
boy. What up?
He said, "What's up, brothers?" It's
What's
funny
up,
because
bro?
we're talking about the past. We're talking about like being R&B and all that, and he's in the chat right now. Yo, I was thinking about you this weekend, man, because we did a show with Drew Hill, and it just made me think of 120, like when I was listening to Drew Hill perform. Yeah, but it's crazy, man. It's crazy when you think about the journey that we.
You know what made me think about Drew Hill? Like, I saw some pictures of them, like promo pictures.
Yeah.
And I was just like the demeanor, even the pictures, like trying to portray this thing. And I'm not saying it to down them in any way. What I'm saying is that
We were there.
I understand
Yeah.
because like these men are in their 40s now,
They're
right?
still doing that, yeah.
But you feel like you have to play a role.
Yeah.
They're playing a role,
Yeah.
right? And they don't know how to get out of that role.
Right.
They don't know where to move,
Yeah.
how to position themselves. Because really it's about how they appeal to the market, right? And that's bondage, man.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Like,
It's like they're basically like the wrestlers, like the old wrestlers, like Ric Flair. They're out there and they got tits and they're like,
Yeah, and they're still doing it,
yeah. And that
juicing up right before they go on, so they can, like,
but that becomes the parody. That becomes the meme.
it becomes a meme. It's a meme.
Yeah.
Like watching Cisco still trying to do
Backflip.
backflips and like
missed it by that much.
and like still like doing the spins and the yeah. It's like wow. He's been
doing that ad lib all weekend, y'all.
because it's just
He's doing it on the plane.
It's because you know why because I was really like looking at their videos, just like going back and reminiscing and watching, and honestly it made me think of where we were at that time. It's like, yo, this
But you
is
only
what
do dances?
This is what we did.
Really?
This is what we
Yeah.
wanted to be, man.
I gotta see this.
This is what we wanted to be, and it was like, yo, like I just felt like, honestly, like, and I'm not saying this to be demeaning in any way. I felt empathy for like them being still being there, like, and I felt free of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
But and that's the point. Like, that's why it's not to knock them and it's really about like somebody's got to be able to reach them to where they can see that they don't have to be bound to that.
Yeah.
You know, that they can be set free from that. And it all comes from the Lord, you know? And when we can do that, and we can just shine a little bit of light.
Right.
People see that, and again, it plants a seed. You might not understand it right away, but when it continues, that thing grows.
Yeah.
You know?
And there's freedom. There's freedom from mental bondage. You know.
Yeah.
You're-
Absolutely.
I don't have to, like, you guys are close to age with them guys, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to be a caricature. Like, I was just thinking about this. Like, if Drew Hill is trapped to that, what is Cardi B gonna be?
Yeah, man.
In 2035, as she's
Oh
doing
my
WAP.
goodness.
I mean, but you have those examples. Look at
The
go
show
ahead.
that we did in California. What city was that? San
yeah, with
Bernardino?
the girl group,
Yeah,
the rappers.
I thought they were singers.
Yeah.
And then they come out.
What was it?
What was this
Supersonic.
Supersonic.
You know, Supersonic.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yo,
yeah.
they're-
So they're still like doing that. You
Yeah.
know, like that's their
Who's
their
that? Salt
thing.
and Pepper?
No.
No. Yeah, sound old.
Also black card, Stan. Stan, give me that card.
Who's that? Salt and Pepper.
Yeah,
but
they,
you-
they look like, grandmoms, right? And I thought they were old. I thought they were an old sing group. I got like me and Jake's, sitting backstage, and I'm like, yo, they're rapping.
Simone is like, the clean ladies up there rapping, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, but I mean, and then we have other examples of it. Like, think of stars from like the 60s and 70s who still have to like be that thing that they were. You know what I mean? Here you go. Play this a little bit. So we all know that genre of
Right.
but they're still doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to this day, like when they get up there, they have to like, and my name is Belt, and I'm da da da, get the dibba dibba da, and the dibba da. And they just, and they're up there dancing, and they're still doing their thing, and they got their choreography, and it's just like, wow, like,
Yeah.
And the behind the scenes stuff too.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like just shows them where they're at mentally, and that's the part that hits my heart. You know what I mean? Because there's no change. You know?
You should seriously. You know those commercials where like you have the dog at night, like the sad dog commercial? Jake should do one about artists.
in the arms of the
Have you seen this person?
please help them.
Help us.
And it's just like slow motion of them doing choreography.
And it slows it down right at the
Cisco, yeah.
For 25 cents a day, we can help Cisco stop this.
He's trying to do a backflip on stage.
He missed it. He broke
That's
his.
so messed up. Bro. That's so messed up. Oh man.
Oh man, yeah, but
But think about it. It's a whole genre. I don't know what you. It's a whole area where people they just become laughing stocks.
Yeah.
Like to some people, they're still buying tickets to
Oh,
go
yeah.
see them. But I'm saying, and then other people, they just they still doing it. Like how many times you hear that from people, especially our people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, they still doing that. Like
Yeah.
they belittle you.
mm-hmm.
You become a joke. You know what I mean? And you're dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
You know, look at how people talk about how people talked about Whitney Houston and
Bobby Brown.
Bobby
Bobby
Brown.
Brown.
Yeah, like,
they became a joke
you become a joke.
on that reality show they had.
When really bro, they're dealing with crazy stuff.
They've been through
You know?
a lot, man.
And so that whole
Donnie said, "Wow, that's funny."
what I'm saying is that whole umbrella or covering that people are coming under that they think is something good,
Yeah.
right? That's the thing that needs to be broken. Like
The industry is meant to grind you up and spit you out,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and then to take you for everything you're worth, even when you're old and gray.
Right.
Which is like really disappointing.
it's
So,
never gonna
It's
give you anything good, right?
that's the story.
Yeah.
Like that's the sad story behind the curtain.
Right,
James.
right.
Yeah.
It's literally
It's a
the belly of the
sad,
beast,
sad
right?
day.
So that beast takes you in, its mouth swallows you up, and then you in that belly like, yeah, we doing it. But then eventually you got to come out that other side. And when you come out that other side, you just covered in shit, man.
Well, the thing is, I know artists have been talking about this, right? But I think this is sort of like within the last 10 to 15 years, but I'd say at least 10 years, is the first time, because we're the generation of, we didn't watch Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. We watched MTV Cribs, right?
Yeah, Cribs, which was another illusion, fake
Another
show.
illusion. But
yeah.
here's what it did for us, though. We related everything through the success of what we were seeing at that time, only to find out within another 5 years that those cars were rented, that house was rented.
Yep.
That's not their real house. That's not their real dog. That's
Yeah.
not even their real mother.
Yeah.
So we saw
all those things in the fridge were plants by the company that wanted to sell those things.
All of that stuff that we saw at that particular time. This is a unique time because in the 60s, the 70s, when you were watching a popular artist, there's no reason for you not to believe that whatever they're telling you isn't exactly the truth. Then you saw Lifestyle of Rich and Famous. So now you correlate that to like the late 90s, or when did it come out? Late 90s, early 2000s?
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
MTV Cribs.
Oh, yeah, like mid 90s.
Right. When you saw the scene of an artist pulling up in their Ferrari.
Yeah.
And hey, oh, you guys are here? Anyway, come on in.
Come on in.
And check out my fridge of crystal, my shoe closet.
Right.
You're immediately going to, if you're a kid or a young person who's enamored with stardom, and you saw that, how are you not going to be like, yo, this is it? You know?
Right.
It's
how
hard.
do I get that? Yeah.
But then the thing is, what we didn't catch was within that, at least, I would say within at least 5 to 10 years of that show coming off the air, those very artists were saying to people, that was fake, this is wrong.
Right.
I think the only one was Redman. Redman was the only one that...
He actually made a joke out of it.
Yeah, he was the only one that kind of satired the whole thing.
Right.
But I'm saying that we had a unique experience where we saw the very people saying, this was fake, this is not true.
Right.
And we still didn't listen.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's because your desire supersedes.
Your desire super. We watched TLC get up on the Grammys and Left Eye say, it's crazy that we winning a Grammy right now. We sold 10 million albums, but we all filed for bankruptcy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just looked at that and
so
said,
what happened to her?
they dumb. Dummies.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me read this comment because Baby Boy just wrote a long one. He said, it's great seeing you guys. I've always been a fan. You know how hard it is to keep a group together. We've been going strong for 13 years now. A lot of it is what we learned from being around you. You are brothers, and things we learned from Dave. But prayer, hard work, and work in dedication is what keeps us together. And if I never told you thank you for all you've ever done for us, too nasty for TV, baby. R&B King TMD.
That's his hashtag.
Oh, appreciate that, baby boy.
what's
Yeah.
up, man.
Like, yeah, we spent a lot of time around each other, and you know, we
Up in the
had a lot
studio.
of conversations.
Jamie, you said something about, you come out the other end with the shit, right?
Yeah.
But shit is used for fertilizer,
Mhm.
right? So like, and it's funny because everybody wants to be around when everything looks beautiful, right? So I'm just thinking about it like Camden, 'Cause,
Right.
You know, like Camden can look ugly to people,
Right.
Right? But there's potential there. There's opportunity there. Nobody wants to be around the ugly thing. Everybody wants to be around the beautiful thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you can go to the place that's ugly, and cultivate that place and see the beauty in it, that you can't see yourself. God's got to show you that.
Right.
That's the point. You know what I mean? So when I'm saying, you see these people, you see where they're at, but God can turn that around.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
what Jesus did.
So we're like, are we being part of the problem? Exactly, Moon. Or are we being part of the problem and just like, laughing at these people,
Right.
or are we believing like God can do something there? And we have to be the catalyst. It helps. Are we looking for what does God say about that situation? You know what I mean? What is God saying about, like, we're in Camden right now. What is God saying about Camden?
Right.
I think that's one of the reasons why he told us back in the day to pray for Camden.
Yeah.
Because he wanted us to be able to see what we didn't see.
Right.
Like, back then it was like everybody was saying
It was written off.
Camden.
Yeah.
You can't like you know what I mean.
Yep.
Nobody goes to
If
Camden.
only we knew financially.
Right. Shout out to Tia Michelle. Said good evening. What's up with the
What's up, Tia?
purple box? I don't know what that.
But to be able to see
It looks like a city.
Oh,
beauty where there's none, that or where people can't see it,
right.
you know,
Right.
that's what real artistry is about.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what real cultivation is about. You know, to be able to like, you do it all the time.
Yeah.
You got to be able to go into a house that doesn't look too good.
I'm gonna need you to do that in my house pretty soon.
And be able to pull out the
Yeah.
beauty that's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to me, I love that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what I like whenever I go to a city and like say I'm walking around, say we're walking around and I find like a street musician,
Yeah,
like, and they're playing and they got like the stuff on their feet
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're working hard
Right.
and they're doing it. I stand around and just
Yeah.
look at them. And usually they're very talented.
Mm-hmm.
They're very talented. And you give them a good tip or you just talk to them a little bit, man, that lifts their spirit.
Yeah.
And it's like when I was in Tennessee, Nashville.
that's Tennessee. Yeah.
And we were down there. I mean, they start early in the morning. I realized 9 a.m.
Music City, USA,
they're
man.
playing music. But the amount of artists that are there.
Yeah.
That are there. And just being there, like the guy serving the ribs, he's a guitar
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's passing out his card. And when you show up and they see you, they remember you. They're just like so excited. I think that's like the purest form of it because
Yeah.
they really want you to listen to them. you know?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's what I miss about it. You know,
Yeah.
I've never enjoyed. I've been to a couple of big concerts. I've never enjoyed a lot of them. The only one was Bruno Mars, and
Yeah.
that's because he was actually a musician.
Yeah.
You know, and he stopped the show because everybody's phones were up.
Right.
And he stopped it, and he said, and he looked at his one of his partners, and he said, "Listen, man, look at these people, man." And they were talking about it. And he's like, "Look at these people." He's like, "They spent all this money to come out here," and he's like, "And instead of enjoying themselves, they're on their phones looking
Yeah.
at us. They're gonna watch us and look at it." And he was making fun of the
Yeah,
audience,
right.
And he's like, "Put your phones down, enjoy yourself." And I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed the intimate setting, like the stuff you guys do. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I think part of the problem is people's desire to want to be wowed. I want to see 10 outfits. I want to
Yeah.
see sparkles. I want to see them swinging.
Fireworks. We
Why?
get enticed by the corporatization
show,
of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It has
It's
to be
like
this
when,
drawn out
when
thing.
you walk into IKEA, right? It's like I've never been into an IKEA in my life, but I always hear the stories. Like you walk in and it's like, wow, and you go through the whole maze and you
Yeah,
get the
yeah, yeah.
meatballs and stuff, and you're like, this is amazing.
Let's buy it.
You know, like let me
It's
buy,
too much, yo.
buy stuff. You know, but a lot of people like that's what they want. They want to go into a giant place and see everything in the world. You know,
Right.
instead of like, but you're not that type. You're the guy that wants to go. Let me find that dude that's whittling some stuff out of his
Right,
garage, like
yeah.
and find what he, you know.
Yeah.
It's more
So-
personal.
But I think, yeah, most people they're attracted to the corporatization of things, man. And these in the music business is completely corporatized, so they know that. They know,
Well, they've been programmed to
Right.
be.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like we've been programmed.
Yeah,
in that.
right.
How many songs did she did? She did one, but she's on her 5th outfit.
yeah.
Hang in there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I remember I was watching an interview with one of the sound engineers that I follow, and he was talking about doing the live shows for Rihanna, and he was saying that like all of the sound, like when they were on tour with the Rihanna tour, all of the sound equipment fit in 2 trailers. And you're talking about massive stage, sound, fireworks, everything. He said they had 16 trailers of clothes on that tour.
That's true.
That's true. For the background dancers and for her
I was about
and
to
all
say for
her,
her.
all her outfits, but even so, like think about how big sound equipment is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And that
See,
fit
and
in 2
I don't know
trailers.
what it is. I think probably something within us that we want to be like that, so we see it and we kind of vicariously live through that.
Yeah.
You know, I've never really been attracted to it. Like once I started, to me, I'm more in amazement of like. Here's what I'm amazed by: that your timing with the guitar player,
Yeah.
with the drummer,
Right.
like all of that works
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Yeah.
Because when I was taking bass lessons with your dad, I was like, this is hard as hell.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
so you get more of appreciation for what people are doing up there.
because I'm like, how do you guys have that? It's almost like it's in sync.
Yeah.
To know, you know what I mean? And then I realized through like doing woodworking, like when I started to get it, I was like, wow, you have a feeling for it.
You get a feel for
It's
it.
a feel. It's like
Yep.
then you stop thinking about it, and
Yep.
it's now the feeling. Like
Yep.
I'm like, oh, it's a
Yep.
feeling. Okay, so now I know. Like when I do my stuff, when I do crown molding and
Yeah.
stuff, I have a feel. I'm like, okay, I know when this is gonna fit.
Practice.
Yeah.
You know exactly. And
Yeah.
We talking about practice.
and that's what I was. That's what I was enamored with when I go see. Because when I go see a smaller show, like say I go to like World Cafe Live or something like that, and it's an intimate show. I always feel more connected to the artist or the music versus, you know what I mean, like something.
And you know why? Because a lot of the artists that you're going to see, they actually have to have a connection on stage. They actually have to be creating a vibe. A lot of these big shows, even Bruno Mars,
Yeah.
sad to say,
Yeah.
they're using so much backing tracks and like
yeah.
fake like Pro Tools sessions with all the harmonies and all the drums
funny.
and the
It's funny, Jamie, because what's it called? Programming.
It's programming, yeah. So they put all of the stuff from the record on the. So when you're listening
Yeah.
to it, it sounds so slamming because they're barely playing.
Right,
It's
right.
like they're just playing along with everything.
Right,
You know.
right.
And it's like a false cover.
Yeah. That,
know what I mean?
So they can rely on that. It becomes a crutch for the musicians. They don't have to create that energy and vibe on their
Yeah.
own. It's already there.
I wonder how a lot of them would do if they had to go to like the small venues. Like, you know what I mean? To really,
And just go. I'm now Bruno Mars could pull it off because I've seen him do like acoustic stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so I know for a fact he could pull it off. But I'm saying like you. But you're right. Like a lot of these artists that's what they rely on. I know a few that like.
But even so, like, my point is like, even if they pull it off, like, okay, like, what are they projecting?
Right.
Because they're still what are we talking about?
Right, right,
You know what I
right.
mean? What's the meaning behind it? You know, and I'm not just saying like even in the words. I'm saying even in the sound.
In the sound, yeah.
Even in the sound, there's a meaning. There's a frequency in that sound.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can be on the same page, but all together on the same page, but not in the right book. You
Right,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
right.
and that goes. That's not just with the worldly thing. I was watching this thing on a side note, but pertains to music. Costi Hinn, Benny Hinn's nephew, did a thing where he talked about. You guys remember this, but like the mid '90s, late '90s, the Benny Hinn Crusades.
Yeah.
And he talked about setting the music and how Benny had to come out right at that time when like there's a certain octave that the choir hits.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're in the presence of God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Music is definitely used as a tool.
I'll send
for
you
wizardry.
guys it.
Yeah.
It's by Alan Parr.
Oh, Alan Parr. Yeah.
Alan Parr, and he interviewed him, and he talked about the setting the environment. Like
Yeah.
he would get so mad if they didn't cue him right at the time of that octave.
Right.
When he comes out and he's like, sing hallelujah. And,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's perfect because it's
Right.
like everything is the octaves right.
Right.
The everything is just, and
Right.
the whoever the hype man is or the
But he
MC.
needs that moment to
needs that
fully
moment.
get people to buy in.
Right. And I remember watching that with my mother. I told you about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would feel like, wow. And then he would go right into his
Yeah.
spiel. And I remember feeling like, it does feel, because, you know, the music is captivating you.
It's just
know.
like you were just talking about the Arms of the Angel commercials, right? It's the same. Like
Feel a certain
if
way.
they were playing like.
Yeah.
If they were playing like
Beatbox.
no, but I'm saying
Beatboxing
like
to it.
imagine they were playing 24 karat gold over that. Like,
it wouldn't be the same
like
thing.
you would not be feeling bad for these dogs. It's like, yo, they having a good time. Like, these dogs is killing it over there. Like,
Right, right.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
it's
I
just
think they're getting better.
yeah, I think these dogs like what they're dealing with right,
Right.
now. So
Right.
it's all music is definitely used.
But what
to
I'm
set
saying is
its
that
own.
it doesn't, I think it doesn't just happen in the sector, because now
No.
we see this with church, right?
Yeah.
Because in the church, I mean,
It's about the show.
it's about the show.
Yeah.
It's about you look up there and you can't differentiate between the church. You don't know if is Jewel up there?
Yeah, right.
You know, because you don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why, like, what we do, people don't get it because we're always doing different styles of
Paul
music.
said 24 karat dogs.
We're always doing different styles, right? We're doing we always say we're trying to we just do what we feel,
Right.
Right.
And for a lot of people, it's confusing because
your guys'
Yeah.
music is like your food.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a mishmash. Right. One day you get Thai, one day you get
but that's
Jamaican.
because we're cultivating something
Right.
between cultures,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And that's weird to people.
Yeah.
Because people want to hold on to you go to Southern Baptist, you know what I
Has
mean?
to be that
Black
way.
Right,
church.
right.
It's a certain way. You go to a Southern Baptist white church,
Yeah,
it's a certain
yeah,
way
right, yeah.
of praising God. And then you go to, we were talking about this at Mom had like worship music in the back, and it was like
Yeah, yeah.
they all had the droning,
Yeah.
4 on the floor,
Yep.
on the.
Yes.
like there's a
Right.
format that they all use,
Right.
right?
That's contemporary Christian music.
Right,
Like,
contemporary.
Yeah.
We know this because of music, like,
Right.
so we understand what they're doing,
Right.
right?
Right.
But it's like I'm not saying it's bad,
Yeah.
but you can get drawn into that program,
And,
Yeah.
and that formula.
that
Yeah.
formula,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That then just keeps it a certain thing, and people. So what are they doing? They're causing people to be like, oh, this is what I like, but,
Yeah.
or this is what
This is
what it
yeah.
is.
This
It
is
should
God.
be like
this is
this.
God.
Right.
Yeah. This is what it should be. Yeah.
Right.
But God's always changing. Like, what's so different if you're doing that? Like, I'm not saying it's wrong because you can
Right.
do that and glorify God, but at the same time, you can worship and do that song. And if you playing for yourself, you know what I mean? If you're playing to sound good, if you're playing to receive love, I'm singing about Jesus, and I've heard many gospel or Christian artists say, I was singing about Jesus, I wasn't even saved. Like, really, you know what I mean? I wasn't really saved.
Yeah.
But so the point is, like, it's all about that frequency.
Right.
It's all about your sound, right?
Right.
I'm singing Release.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
I'm talking about
All
Release.
in your feelings.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Like that song Release, like that song is about letting go of what you think it is, giving it to God so you can carry a sound. And in there, what's this? It's all in your feelings,
Yeah.
right? His
How I
feelings,
receive your sound. Yeah.
his feeling, his expression towards us is his grace,
Yeah.
right? It's his ability expressed towards us, which is his love. And when we see it and we receive it, right, then we can give up the thing we've been trying to hold on to. And then we receive it. Now we can carry that sound. You know what I mean?
I got a story to tell you guys real quick. So you see how you're talking about music and this is the Southern, there's two Baptists, right? There's the Black Baptist Church, the White Baptist Church. And there's a certain praise element there and a certain praise element there. Well, with my dad, when we started going to, so after Living Faith,
Yeah.
we went to Edmundson's church. What was that?
Victory.
Victory.
Yeah.
So we always spent our New Year's Eve.
I know this story.
We all spent our New Year's Eve as a family in church. That's what my parents wanted to do. We always did it begrudgingly, but we did it.
That was watch night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your
Yeah,
mom,
you know.
your mom and dad's idea of church worship music always remind me of the Jim Carrey character from Living Color when, when they did the church
Reverend
parody.
Pathos.
Yeah, Reverend Pathos. And Jim Carrey would bust out into a song.
Right. It's because they grew up in
Right.
more contemporary. Would that be contemporary? Like Jimmy Swaggart?
Yes.
Kinda like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So they grew up with that.
That's
So-
like charismatic.
Yeah, the charismatic,
yeah,
the kind of like prosperity gospel, but the early stages of that.
Right.
So it's like, you remember the thing of Carmen?
Yeah.
Like, okay, like that.
Yeah,
Like they love that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Like even what I played at Dad's funeral, I think it's Larnell Harris, like kind of like that. But anyway, so I think this is the first year that Edmondson, we had been going throughout the fall, but this is the first New Year's that we're going to spend in the church that he took over from Lamont. Well, that particular night, he pulled it, he found it.
Gynecologist.
I just want to see when he busts into a song.
See, he's the one like that, Lord. Lord is pissed off.
Only our crew.
In order to
You gotta reach right out and love each other. Never push or shove another unless you're angered by something that they've said, and then feel free to kick them till they're dead. Show their noses ready.
Okay. I just wanted to show that.
He was mocking Jimmy Swaggart.
Yeah.
But so this particular night, I remember all sitting there, but it was a long. And you guys, have you guys spent?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know it's long.
Yes.
We're there from like 7 to like 12. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. There's no need for it to be that long. So we're there, and I remember him coming. This is a young Edmondson. He comes up and he's like, "How many you know? We gotta attract the youth."
Yeah,
and he gives
yeah.
the whole. He's basically warming up the elders.
Yeah.
And he's basically, how many of you know we have to warm up the youth, and we have to kind of get them to buy into the church, and we can't always use this old time Christian music.
Yeah.
And by the time my dad is looking, he's like this. So I know it's about to happen.
Yeah.
Because I can see all the dancers.
Jesus Christ! Yeah.
I can see all the dancers on the sides. They're
Yeah.
sitting there. And he's like, we can't attract them with this old time music. And he's like, with that said, hit it. They run up stage and they start rapping. And my parents are like, eyes are this big. And I'm just looking at it, and they were so angry at that. Because they were so used to this is how it should be done.
Right.
And you know, my dad was like, no, hip hop doesn't belong in church.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a whole nother battle. But he was so hurt that happened. He never went back. He was like, I'm not going back to that.
And that was after he was questioning me why we left. Yeah, I remember him sitting down and talking to me like, you can't run away from the church. You can't. And I'm like, I'm not running away. It's just. And then right after that was New Year's, and he was
Why
like,
do you
I
run
ain't going back there. I'm done with them.
But I tried to show him that the art form itself isn't bad. Like even like with reggae, like I would show him like it's not bad. It's sometimes the generation stigmatizes a genre, and that's whatever they believe that to be. Then that's what it is, and they'll never look past it.
Right?
And it's like nope.
That's where the bitterness comes from. Like, I mean, just look at like church in general. Like, how many people have had situations happen to them in church, and then I'll never go back.
Yeah.
Or a certain denomination. You know what I mean? And then they just like, oh, it's horrible. Like,
It's personal to you.
or like prophecy. You know what I mean? And they were given some prophecy, and it was like some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, prophecy, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Like,
Right.
you become bitter or jaded by
speaking in tongues.
Right.
It
It leaves a bad taste in your mouth because somebody misrepresented it. That don't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It has to do with the misrepresentation.
And then the fault in us is taking that thing and being like, this is we didn't really look at the source and say, well, where did it come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
misused. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not the actual tool. It's like the same thing with the gun argument.
Yeah.
The gun itself isn't even. It's how it's
how
being
it's being
used.
used. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, so what is a gun is a weapon, and we're weapons, right? So if we're trying to use ourselves the way we think it should be used, instead of allowing God to mold us into the weapon he wants, you know what I mean, for us, and he wants to use it, like, then it's going to be misused. And then what happens is now people are looking at it and they're like mad and frustrated because they don't see God.
Yeah.
And sometimes too, the elders, the people who are older, they have to understand that what this young person is going through is seasonal. And that's in the season they're in, they're exposed to that. But you gotta stay firm and mentor them to show them, listen. Like, cause I remember liking those lyrics.
Yeah.
And then at a certain age, I got older. I'm like, I don't like that anymore. It doesn't interest me.
You outgrow it.
You outgrow it. But I needed someone to be patient with me.
Yeah.
To show me like, this is not really what you think it is.
Or have someone break it down and make you walk through it logically. Like, why do you like this?
Yeah, why do I like it?
We never get that question from. I can't think of any of our parents ever being like, "Why do you like that?" Explain it to me.
Explain it. Yeah.
What is it about that you like?
Yeah,
and
but not doing it from the. How dare you?
Right.
This
No,
is
it's like
garbage
out of
situation.
curiosity.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
instead of just saying, "Oh, that's trash."
Yeah.
Like I remember.
Yeah, no more got a story for me. My pops did.
Yeah, yeah.
I had some bad Chick-fil-A. He thought I was out drinking.
Oh, for real?
You out there drinking?
You out
devil's
drinking the devil's juice.
Like,
Drinking
nah,
the devil's juice out
I had
there.
a bad Chick-fil-A sandwich, man.
That's what they call it now, huh? The
Yeah.
yin yang triplets still give you that.
All right, can we? We
didn't get to nothing.
We didn't get to
Hey, man.
nothing,
But
man.
we got to what we needed to
We
get
talked
to.
to a lot of good stuff, man. I don't know. We never planned this out. Like we try to plan it out, but it don't work.
My bad.
So no,
here
it's all
ruining
good.
it. Nah,
It's
it's
all
good,
good.
man.
That was good. That
Hey,
was good.
It was taken to where it needed to be taken.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But we're gonna try. I'm gonna try to run through some of this stuff just because it is in the title. So first thing I got is a clip of everyone's favorite VP
The giggling lady.
explaining.
Cackle.
This is her explaining what's going on with the inflation right now. Let's see what she got to say.
Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more.
Well, thank you for that. That was very insightful there.
You can't buy as much.
Did you see she had to look at her notes
Yeah.
for that too?
Like,
It's like
she's looking down.
What has gone up?
Was that it?
that was it because
That's
it was
it?
like,
Oh, my goodness.
that was her whole statement. It was like
goodness.
The
prices
obvious.
have gone up, and
This is why no one likes you.
people are dealing with the fact that they're paying more for things.
In other news, water is wet.
Yeah.
Bread and gas.
Okay, so this is something that I thought was funny. Someone did another Fauci song that went viral.
Oh no!
Oh, that was the one that got kicked out?
It got removed from YouTube, but it got reinstated because a bunch of people hit them up. This is called Sad Little Man. Let's play a little bit of it.
Sad little man sitting deep in a lie. He's dead in his soul, but he'll keep you alive. Do what he says, not what he do. Cause the truth is for him and the lie is for you. Sad little man, but he's treated like a god. As the faithless pray to a fake and a fraud. Worship the man, pledge to his word. One shot, two shot, now you get a third. Sad little man, you better run now while you know you can. Sad little man, you don't fool me, you sad little man. Sad little man.
Okay.
That's 5 for fighting, right?
Huh?
I heard that before. I think that
Yeah, that's what
5 for fighting.
So,
This is-
what is
No,
take it down?
it's 5 Times August. That's the name of the
oh, okay.
band. But yeah, so they were pissed about this.
Of course.
People were pissed, yo. So
Donnie says, "Oh boy, here we go."
people were pissed about this. Hey, Donnie, listen up, man. If you want to know what the narratives they're trying to spin to you, why would they take something like that down?
Yeah.
How many times have we seen mocking videos of people that they don't
Or satire.
satire against people that aren't in the narrative?
Yeah.
They never remove that stuff.
That is, yeah.
You know,
It's
but
very
they
suspicious
constantly
that you cannot, certain things you can't do.
yeah. And one of them is making fun of him. You know what I mean? Did you see the interview that he did somewhere and he was like, "I am science."
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
He said it again. That was Sunday.
They're
I think.
attacking. If they're attacking me, they're attacking science.
Yeah, it's like the 3rd time he said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your science, huh?
Pride
He's
before
all
the
science.
fall.
Yeah. And speaking of Fauci and the sad little man and the mistakes that they make in trusting the science, now we have a headline here from the Daily Beast where they want to let you know what's going on. You can pull this up. It says, sorry, everyone. We screwed up. This is really a 3-dose vaccine. So for all of you people, so now they're just going to gaslight everybody and just be like, no, it was a 3-dose vaccine all along.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no,
Even though we said 2.
boosters. No, not a booster. It's just 3 doses.
Son of a.
3 doses. So you're not vaccinated, sir.
You're not fully vaccinated.
If you had 2, you
I'm
ain't fully
excited myself.
vaccinated.
Yep. And then,
and then it's going to be 4.
Never ends, man.
keeping along those lines. Okay, so this was right before we got what is it? Omicron
Omarion.
variant. Omarion variant.
Captain Briggs.
Let me see your body go bump bump bump. Got the Omarion variant. So it said Africa is only 6% vaccinated and COVID has practically disappeared. Scientists are baffled. And this is true, like for most of the countries. Emma, if he's still watching, he talks about it all the time. He's from Cameroon. And, we know a bunch of people in Africa who talk about how, like, we just live like it doesn't exist here. So after this, of course, after this came out, then we get a huge new variant from South Africa. And it's funny because we were supposed
Keep your mouth shut, Africa.
Right. Shut up, Africa.
Shut up.
Stop
Hey.
it. We were supposed to go to Africa.
Not anymore.
No,
Yeah.
we were supposed to go. And, that got shut
Stop
down quick.
bragging.
So Libs of TikTok put this tweet up. Well, they put someone's tweet up, which I thought was very... And their comment was, this is just unhinged. And this is, Dottie, this is the stuff that we're talking about, that we're pushing back against.
He commented.
What'd he say?
He said, hold up. Paul Horner said, Omicron moronic. He changed the lettering.
Moronocron.
Oh, no. If you
played
spell it
Scrabble.
out,
Yeah.
it spells moronic or something.
Oh.
Moronic.
Moronic. It's a anagram, right? That's what they call it.
So Donnie said the VP video was a short clip, soundbite, and not fair because she actually said more than what you showed. But this is y'all show.
But the fact that when someone asked her a question and she stumbled through a whole minute of trying to answer nonsense, like it's just.
I mean, even what she said, like the fact is, it's just nonsense.
Yeah,
and
there's plenty of examples of her doing that. So,
And to be fair, I mean that's what people do all the time. They take clips of things, and satire it all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
They how many clips of
They did that with Trump?
Every politician that they don't like, do they take and just play?
They don't ever pay it in entirety.
Right. Right. So anyway, this tweet says, I want to see videos of anti-vax parents being painfully restrained, the look of absolute horror in their eyes, tears running down their cheeks as their children are forcibly vaccinated against their will of their racist, Trumpist, anti-vax, transphobic parents. I want them all to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're powerless in the face of the vaccine.
Now, would you want these people to have any control?
This is what I'm saying.
Or any type of authority?
Right.
Sometimes you got to look at who's around you and fighting with you.
Right.
And do you want them to fight with you?
Like this is
I don't think so.
This is
evil.
what you call immature grown up.
Right.
Right.
But this is what I think we're being herded into these camps where people just want to see the person they don't agree with forced to pay the price somehow. Like you want to see them pay. And we're being conditioned into this way of thinking.
Yeah.
And it's not healthy.
It's justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's their idea of what justice is.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a little theory about that. I
What?
think part of it too is this: when people feel like they did the right thing, but they're not sure of what they did, they just did it. They don't want, in case something happens down the line that may be in danger to their life, they don't want to feel like the only person or the only people who did it.
Right.
And there's people who didn't do it and warned about it. So they feel like, well, if we all did it, then
Right.
I'll feel better about my choice. I don't
Right.
know much about it, but if we were all kind of,
I don't want to be the fool.
I don't want to be the fool.
Yeah.
We believe the
See what
lie.
I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like that. That's why I talk about
I get
when I
it.
say circumcision.
Right.
I've told many people about
Yes.
a circumcision is totally necessary, and they're like, "Well, they didn't do anything to me, so f you." I'm like, yeah, but you know how many boys die? You know how many boxers? Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
Because they're stuck on that. I have it. I'm
Right.
good. So who cares? Until
Right.
it happens to you. It's that same mentality. You can give. I remember doing. I was 19 years old when I did that
Yeah.
public speaking in Camden. People looked. That class was like.
Right.
I had all the facts. I showed them that foreskins were being sold to pharmaceutical companies. I had all this research that I
Yeah.
did. No one cared.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I sent y'all that one meme about that, about like how people protest
Body positivity.
yeah, but they also they have nothing to say about circumcision. Like my body, my choice, but
Yeah.
when you ask them about circumcision,
No, yeah, it's fine.
yeah, no.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that people just don't want to feel like it's like they would feel better if everybody did it. It's
Right.
not because they don't know. They can't explain what this is. I just don't want to feel like I'm the fool.
Right.
I don't want 20 years to go by and
Yeah.
about that thing you
Right.
guys took.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't
Guess
want to
what?
feel like that.
We just like that headline read. We screwed up. Sorry, guys. You're all going to grow an extra forehead now. Sorry.
I think that's part of it too. And then it goes the opposite way too. If let's say it does work.
Yeah.
And people who are like dropping like flies and
Yeah.
everybody's like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
See, you didn't take it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of that. I think a lot of times it's more, I don't want to feel like the odd man out and I don't want to feel like the person who lost.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
So if we all have to do it, then since
feel
I had
better.
to do it, you had to do it.
Right.
This is for Donnie as well, so he can see the wizardry that goes on in the news media. This is the stuff that we're always trying to reveal, because this is the head. If you read the headline is very misleading. They bury the lead. They do this all the time in news media. So you can pull this up, John. So what does the headline say? Child lost to COVID-19. But when you read the article, it's literally right there. Someone circled it. It says, however, it was revealed that the coronavirus was not the reason for either his hospital admission or death. So
then what is the point?
What is the point
Yeah.
of that headline?
Because that's what you're gonna. That's
draw
gonna be
you
imprinted
in.
on you.
And you're not going to read the article.
Yeah.
You're just going to see the headline and tell people that. Oh, children are dying. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they're doing.
Right.
That's what they do with everything.
Facebook, they do that all the time to get clicks.
People never read the article. And if they do, they read the first couple paragraphs. They always bury it
Yeah.
in the base of the article.
Right. I had to turn off. I mean, even on Facebook, I had to turn off a lot of, like, I subscribe to a lot of those type of things, and it would just be the headline. 'Cause
Yeah.
You don't have time to really read the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the headline grabs you because it's in bold print. So I've had to turn that off because I realized that when I would switch onto it, I'm just reading the article, and naturally you're just flipping because you're not going to read the whole thing, but if you don't, then you have no context. So
Yeah.
you're just stuck on whatever that headline says. You know,
And most of these companies, you have to pay to read the article.
right?
So
yeah,
you
'cause
click on it and you're like,
that's right.
you know.
That's a good point. Yeah, because you click on it, it goes to something else. And,
Yeah. So most people but people will literally share that just based off of the headline. They'll
it's like
see
people thought that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 3 black people.
right,
It's
exactly.
because of, you know what I mean? It's a headline.
Or like in the news today, people thought that Jussie Smollett got beat up by 2 MAGA supporters in Chicago in the middle of the night while he was trying to get Subway. But now he's on trial for that.
Oh yeah, he is. It started today.
Yeah, I think it started today, right?
I think so.
Yeah, but from what I know, his defense, his whole defense now is that he was a victim of the Osundairo brothers. Like they set him up.
What?
Yeah, but they're supposed to testify against him.
Okay,
But-
thought they weren't.
No, they're going to. They're going to testify.
Didn't they
against
find
him.
a check that they?
Dude, there's video footage of him going
Rehearsing
to
it.
the spot and pointing out where
Yeah.
the
Now, miss, you go down on purpose, checks in the
and then
mail.
showing them where the camera is so that it all gets on camera. Like this is on video, and then the check that he wrote to them, but you know he's claiming that was for personal training, you know, but they're going to testify against him, but he's claiming that they set him up and this was all their plan to make him look bad because they don't like him. That's what he's trying to say now.
Tune in.
But we won't be able to see it.
Oh,
It's not going to be televised.
Oh,
You know, they don't want to show
Why?
us.
Why?
Same reason why the Ghislaine Maxwell.
nothing to
And
see
the
here.
same reason why Rittenhouse was.
Right, right.
They
Yeah.
want to take away-
Televise the stuff that's going to divide us. Don't televise the stuff that is going to, you know,
Expose them.
expose the stuff they do. Because think who's
The trick.
who's going to be implicated in the Jussie. They might talk about Kim Fox.
Mhm.
They might talk about, because I remember the VP tweeting about him and saying that this was a lynching, you know what I mean? And then pushing that lynching bill through right after that, you know, using it as the catalyst to push that lynching bill through. So it's all weirdly tied in, you know.
Her and the other dude, senator
Cory?
from Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, Cory Booker.
Yeah, Cory Booker, both of them. Yeah. But yeah, that's funny that he's going on trial now for a fake
even know
story.
that.
Yeah. 3 years later, he's finally going on trial. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
All right, so talking about Omicron, talking about what's going on over there in Africa, and talking about how they're about to lock things down. New York is talking about doing another harsh lockdown.
Oh, they got the travel bans in place.
Travel bans are in place.
That was xenophobic and racist.
it was racist when
under Trump.
Yeah, of course. Australia is locking down even harder now. A bunch of European countries locking down even harder just from the mention of this thing, and them just like a couple cases here and there. But
the borders are still open. I get it.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
you talking truth here?
Yeah,
Right?
we were supposed to go there.
Right. But Stan sent us this video of the doctor who discovered it, and she had some interesting things to say about what is happening in the world.
Looking at the mildness of the
I don't know if we
symptoms
agree
that
with
we
this
are
Facebook.
seeing.
Let me play from the beginning.
Looking at the mildness of the symptoms that we are seeing, currently there is no reason for panicking, as we don't see severely ill patients. I also checked with the hospital, some of the hospitals in my area, and one of the biggest hospitals, they only have one patient currently that's COVID positive on a ventilator, and they don't even know whether it's COVID, it's Delta, or whether it is Omicron related. We acknowledge that it might change going forward. But the hype that's been created currently out there in the media and worldwide doesn't correlate with the clinical picture. And it doesn't warrant to just cut us off from any traveling and ban South Africa as if we are the villains in the whole process. It should not be like that.
And those aren't our words, Facebook, YouTube. Those are the words of the doctor, the scientist who discovered this variant. So basically, and we're hearing this from a bunch of people who are studying this now, that they're saying that it seems like it's very transmissible, but way weaker than the other variants.
But doesn't this go back to he was a forensic. He studies diseases or bacteria, and he said this was going to. I heard this about a year or two ago when it also. He said, "Listen, when you don't go to work with the original strain, there are going to be multi variants that are going to come along because disease and bacteria mutates. So you're going to always be doing this because we never got a chance to actually go to China to actually investigate to find the original strain of this thing.
Right.
So you're going to deal because now you've essentially taken a disease and putting it in multiple different environments, and it's going to mutate according to that environment. So these kind of things are going to happen,
Right.
Because
especially when you do mass vaccinations.
when you do mass, because it's as it mutates in different countries, there's always going to be different variants of it that's going to come along because you're not attacking the original strain, you're attacking almost like a mutated strain, basically,
Right.
And that does make sense. I'm like that.
But and also they talked about a lot of the scientists, and again, this is not our words. These are the scientists that we've seen doing research on this. They talked about how what's going to happen is that these mutations are going to be easy. The as the antibodies get built up, as more people get vaccinated, the mutations that are going to emerge from that are going to be easier to
Weaker and weaker.
but they're going to be more transmissible through like even if you're vaccinated, you can still get it. Even if you have antibodies, you can still get it, but it's going to be weaker. It's going to it's not going to be deadly like you know.
And typically that's what viruses do.
Right.
They don't want to kill the host.
Right.
A virus job is to live.
To live, yeah.
So
right.
It's going to multiply.
But what we see is, and what she was speaking to is the fact that all of these political factions want to use this as another opportunity to push this agenda that we see going on, where it's like shut down these economies, get people more reliant on the government,
and it's fear.
Push fear.
It's fear.
Yeah,
you know, that's the point. Like, it's to get people to focus. See, all this stuff, all this stuff is to get, especially Christians, like, to do what? To get them to focus on a solution that's outside of God.
Right? Darnell said they just want to cause widespread panic, SMH. Yeah.
Fear. Mm-hmm. But it's like, we need to do something. How can we? No, rest in God.
Yeah.
But I know when I say that, most people don't even understand what I'm saying.
Right.
You know, because that's been so convoluted. Like, but what does that mean, God? Mm-hmm. If you don't understand, I don't got the time to be explaining everything. Right. But my point is, it's all in Him.
Yeah.
Read the Bible, seek Him for yourself. He'll show you.
Right. Stop being drawn into these games, these tactics that they're using on us. Stop being fooled. Let God.
If you really believe that He is God and He's good all the time,
right?
God is good all the time. You know?
Yeah.
People say this stuff,
yeah.
But if He's really good, then why are you not trusting in Him?
Right.
And I'm not saying you can't take no vaccine. You feel like that's something for you, but you eventually got to get to the point to where you rely on Him with everything.
Yeah, because the point is they're never going to stop with this.
Mm-hmm. No, that's that's what I'm saying. Like
the plan is for you to keep coming back for this. Like these companies are going to make so much. Like, did you hear the Breaking Points? Crystal and Sagar did a thing today where they uncovered that like the government actually created the patent for the coronavirus in 2015 with Moderna. Like they own.
They're fighting over the patent.
Yeah,
Moderna.
Like, this goes back to 2015 when they decided to patent this virus.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And they talked about it on their news channel. Like this is news. This is not us. This is not a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. And what he said, I want to piggyback on that because I got the vaccine, but I have to. Instead of living in fear and be like, oh, did I mess up? Or, what should I do? I'm going to trust, and ultimately, whatever happens,
right?
I know where my faith lies.
Yep.
So I'm going to trust in God that whatever happens, I know that if something happens, I know where my eternity is. You know what I mean? And live that life. But I think what you guys are trying to point out is the fear tactics and the way they're pitting people against one. That's really what I see.
The games they're playing.
They're playing games, you know what I mean?
And all of these organizations are working together for this.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you guys heard about why it's called Omicron. You guys hear about this?
They skipped over letters in the Greek alphabet.
Right. And what was the first one they skipped over?
NU, I think. And it was mu already. I think it was nu, and then G.
Why did they skip over G?
Because that's the president of China.
XI. And the WHO was the ones that recommended, the World Health Organization
was the ones
did not want it to be called XI because whose name is XI?
President
Xi Jinping
of China.
Okay. So they didn't want to name the new variant after him.
Right.
So then they settled on Omicron.
Way too deep into that.
But that's what they did.
Wow.
They skipped over two letters of the Greek alphabet just to get to Omicron.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
but it's all. What I'm saying is, it's all a game. Right. It's all a game. Like they're all playing politics. They're all playing tactics to.
And part of it too, people just take it so we can go back to normal. They don't realize that there is no normal.
Yep.
Yeah, you know? This is the new normal.
Right.
New normal.
Right.
And Moderna, just to point out, they've never brought a successful drug to market.
Yeah.
Until this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a way.
And then to go back to that, what was it? I think it was the meme or something. To bash Trump, but Trump is touting the vaccine still.
Oh, there's where's the meme that you sent me? I had it on here.
It's all good. But, you know.
Yeah.
That was under him. And it was Kamala and Joe saying that I wouldn't take the vaccine under Trump.
That's the crazy thing when people are like, oh, it's Trumpers. That like Trump is the biggest. He thinks that's his biggest achievement. He's always out there saying, you know, I created the fastest vaccine, the best vaccine. It's so
like, yo,
Operation Warp Speed. Yeah.
And even there have been
but that
dreadful.
just shows you, like, dude, everybody's fallible.
Oh, here it is. This is the meme you sent. A guide to protecting yourself against the deadly Omicron virus.
Stop listening.
Just put an earplug in.
Earplugs.
Because you probably already had it.
That'll protect you. Yeah.
Yeah. What are we feeding ourselves with? What are we believing? You know, that's what can kill you fast.
Right.
You know, like the story of the dude in the train, you know, who's fixing the freezer and dies in the freezer.
Dude, that's a crazy. Tell them that story. I never heard this story before.
So there's a guy who goes on the train to fix the freezer.
The power of the brain, bro.
Right? He goes to fix the freezer, but he gets stuck in the freezer. Right? He gets locked in. So he ends up dying in the freezer. And he writes everything. He writes about it. So he's saying, you know, I don't think I have much time left. It's getting colder, right? So to the point where he eventually dies. But when they go and find that he's there and they take him out, they realize the freezer was never on. It was never on. It wasn't working. So in his mind, he just thought it was working. He thought he was going to die in there. His mind killed himself.
His mind told him he was freezing to death. His mind told him he was freezing to death, and he literally died. Wow. And he felt himself getting colder, and wrote and was writing out how he felt he was dying.
Icicles forming.
I can see my breath as I speak. Yeah, it's crazy.
Vision.
But I've heard the placebo effect is a real thing.
It's true.
The placebo effect is a real thing, man.
Our minds, like when you think about the people who have survived in the wilderness, like, you know, there's been people who have cut off their arm, you know what I mean? All kinds of for survival.
Will to survive,
It's all about, like, a lot of times people die because they give up. You know, they give up.
That's true.
And I think that's one of the strongest things is, like, if we believe in this fear, like, that's the issue. You know, like you were saying, James, like you took the virus. We're not saying that if you took the virus, you're doomed.
You mean the vaccine?
Vaccine.
Yeah.
Well,
you ain't wrong.
Well, that too, right?
Yeah. You took that first.
But what we're saying is that where's your mind at on it?
Yeah.
Are you fearful? Right? What's your motivation behind taking it? Right? And because that's ultimately going to be your demise. Right? If you stay in that mindset. Right? Because it can change. You can turn it around any day. You know what I mean? We recognize there's no need to feel shame. There's no need to like when we recognize we do something wrong, all we gotta do is get up.
Right. And I think people are taking this thing to be a personal attack. I know exactly where you guys are coming from. I took it because, like I said, I was in the hospital. I asked my primary care, hey, what's up with this thing? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't. And he's like, I had questions too about it. He's like, but we're all taking it.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. Then my dad passed away from it. So I use it, and like I said, I'm not in control. There's nothing I can do to stop. I know God is in control.
Yeah.
So,
have you seen? Not to cut you off, but just like because me and you have never talked about this, but you've been seeing like what they're finding out about remdesivir?
No, I haven't. You did tell me about it.
Yeah.
And here's why. I mean, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But here's why I don't want to dwell on that.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing you could do. But
There's
it's just crazy when you think about how we literally saw that happen.
Yeah, we did. But
like they immediately put him on that when he went to the hospital.
But to see, here's why I don't go down that path, right? because for me too, then I'll be like, well, then where was God as a praying man?
Right.
Where's God in all
Right,
of this?
right.
Because then I'll start, because I know that that's Satan's way to get in and be like, see, there's a praying. Look at all that stuff he wrote. Look at all that stuff he was writing that you found that you're. How come God didn't tell him?
Yeah.
So I know that I don't want to tempt myself with trying to find the answer through that,
Right.
because then I'll go down a path where all of a sudden
You're questioning everything.
everything now. So he's gone. I know where he is. He's in glory.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And because you see, the thing is, it's weird for me because sometimes I think when you try to find so much answer, the devil's right there. I got something for you
I'll
too.
give you some, yeah.
I got some
But
answers for you.
I think it is good to like ask.
Yeah. Be aware.
You know what I mean? Like, I think it's good to be like, all right, God, I don't understand this.
Why did this happen?
Show me.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it out of anxiousness.
Yeah.
I know you have the answer. Like,
Right.
that's my mindset. Because that's my mindset with a lot of, I know I don't get this. I don't get how this happened, but I know in you, it makes sense.
And I think in
You know
due
what I mean?
time I will. But right now, it's like I still feel like he's here.
Right.
I still feel like
it's so new.
I'm
man.
going over there.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad's there. Or I see his truck, and it's like that feeling that I have when I drive down the street and I see his truck. I'm like, oh, he's here. Like,
we were just talking about that, me and Liz, like who's gonna make the bull jaw, man? I think I'm gonna have to try to make
you have
it.
to
Man.
do it. No, you're gonna add in.
No, I'm not.
All right,
I gotta stick to that.
That is turkey's claw right there.
That I gotta stick to the traditional. I've watched him make it. I think I can pull it off.
Yeah. But it's like I said, for me, it's more or less like, you know what? Let me just let me go through that period, and then
you
know what I mean,
right?
And I started talking to, you know what I mean, because I don't want to feel like it was my mom. I felt like that. I felt like, you know, this is nonsense,
right?
You know, all that, you know, and I don't want to go back to that. You know what I mean,
right?
But you're absolutely right. It's good to know and to ask those questions, but in due time. You know what I mean?
All right. So I wanted to show this clip of Ahmaud Arbery's dad when he was speaking after the people were convicted. We're just gonna run through all this stuff real quick because it's almost time to wrap it up.
This is Ahmaud Arbery's pop.
So this is
Never
Ahmaud.
real quick.
Ahmaud Arbery's dad. He
It's the dude that was shot.
Everybody knows
Or
that
killed.
the three people that were involved in that were all convicted, and you know, I think rightfully so. You know,
I agree with that.
Look at, you see what's his name in the background.
oh yeah. He it's funny. Me and James were talking about this. Like, these guys always want to be around the action.
They're leechers.
They want to be around the action, man. But let's listen to what he says.
We got that little smart. This history today, letting you know that blacks kill, life does matter. That's right. For real, all life matters. All life. Yes. Not just black children. We don't want to see nobody go through this. Amen. I don't want to see no daddy watch their kid get lynched and shot down like that. That's right, Mom. So it's all our problem. It's all our problem. So, hey, let's keep fighting. Let's keep doing it and making this place a better place for all human beings. Amen. All human beings.
You see, Al stopped agreeing.
Everybody. All human beings need to be treated equally.
It's time to get him off the mic.
Today is a good day.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. That's what he said immediately after that.
Right.
You know what I mean? He said the things that you're not allowed to say.
Right.
You black.
Yeah, wait a
Can't say
minute.
that.
Right.
You know, and his son was a victim, was a true victim. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like watching this dude say, like, no, it's not about black and white. It's about no one should have to go through this.
And justice.
Yeah,
You know,
it's justice. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I want to add real quick to this, but like I told you, I said, you know, this is one of the things where conservatives lose their ground, because they'll post that. But a lot of them, when this first happened, they were almost he's a criminal.
Right,
he's the guy's
right.
defending criminals,
Right,
and it's like,
right.
whoa, calm down.
Look at his. We went through his record and found one time he cursed out a like it's like they do all of that. Yeah, I agree. And that's where conservatives lose black people all the time with that, because it's like you want to champion someone when they're on your side, but then you demonize them. You know.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So then I had. Let's go to this. So where's that video I had? Oh, right here. This is no, that's not the one. let's just show this. I had a video where let me see, where is it? It's Jussie Smollett. I don't know what happened to it. I had a video where they were talking about the Waukesha thing, and they were literally like dancing around the fact that it was people got killed. They were calling it, mainstream media kept calling it an accident, an incident, a thing. So, and then I was going to show this along with it because this is like a bunch of mainstream tweets, all from CNN, where you can see people are circling what they're calling it, the wording that they're choosing to use. Because this is all part of the wizardry that is like when they want to shape a narrative, when something doesn't fit, because we all know that if this was the other way around, what it would be. So we're just seeing, incident, parade crash, incident, parade incident, parade crash. You know what I mean? Yeah. They can't just be honest about the fact that this was a deadly tragedy. You know what I mean? Like multiple people died. Incident. He mowed them down, like specifically trying to kill people. Like
murder turned into murder. Because they were trying to spin it like, oh, he made a wrong turn.
He was trying to evade the police. Yeah. But one of the cops that saw the vehicle actually said that like he was driving very slow on down one of the streets he shouldn't have been on, and he went up to the car and like banged on the hood. It was like, hey, where are you going? Banged on the hood, and then the dude just ignored him. So then he like banged on the window, and then that's when he took off, and then drove through the cones.
I mean, that makes sense. If he was driving fast, he would have started mowing people down from the minute he made that turn.
Exactly. He drove through the cones and then veered to hit people. Like when you watch the video, it's hard to watch.
I can't, man.
It's hard to watch, but
it's terrible because you're watching innocent people just,
Yeah, they have no idea this is coming. That it was one of the things. Like you said it to me too. Like when I took my kids out to the Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah.
I was like, me and Dave both was like, just like being mindful, like, anything crazy happening, you know what I mean? Because it's just like people are doing crazy stuff. All right, Chris Cuomo, he's in trouble. Chris Cuomo is in trouble.
Good.
Pull this up, John. CNN to conduct thorough review of documents showing Chris Cuomo intimate role advising brother Andrew Cuomo. So, didn't they just suspend him?
Yeah.
They just suspended him because they found out. Indefinitely, which means he's fired. Because they did find out that he was intimidating people, he was stalking people, he was doing all kinds of shady stuff to try to help his brother, which we all knew was going. This is something that happens all the time. No one is surprised by this. This is what these people do. On all sides of this, no matter what political affiliation you have, all these connected people,
it's abuse of power.
Yeah, it's abuse of power. But the thing is, they turn a blind eye to it as long as they could.
It's your team. If your team is doing it.
Yeah, if your team is doing it, we don't want to talk about it.
My team is cheating. I have no problem with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Same network that still got the masturbator on.
Oh yeah.
Jeffrey Toobin. He's back on there.
Lubin Toobin still on there. They hired him again.
Yeah, he's back.
All right, moving on. We're gonna make it quick. Okay. Someone just wanted to show this real quick. Someone was did a little search on the New York Times website to see if there's any information on what's going on here. Zero results.
See this.
Nothing to say about what's going on there. I'll play a little bit of this interview here.
Shamika, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. First off, how insane is it that Jussie Smollett walks into court with the sunglasses on, he's all proud, his head held up high, and he still says this happened?
Yeah, he's still claiming that this happened the way he said it did.
Trial a title, it should be Sending the Clowns, because this is a circus. When Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey decided to end, Jussie said, "You thought that was the greatest show on earth? Hold my beer." This is ridiculous. You forgot the part where he said he fought both of the attackers off by himself.
Uh-huh.
It sounded like something out of a comic book. We could have called it
Then I
Black
beat 'em
Man
both.
and Roberts, except for when it came to Men in Tights. Sounds like he wears his in the house.
Like he's
I mean,
You ever see that clip of Omar Epps on All About the Benjamins when he's with Eva Mendes talking about how he fought them? He was trying to act like he was late because he got jumped by some dudes, and he said he fought them both off. That's Jussie. That's Jussie Smollett. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I can't remember it, man. I haven't seen that movie.
Donnie says, "Can we see how Fox News spins news?
Oh,
spins news and info, or is that not allowed over here?"
No, like I said, we
Both of them do it.
They all do it, but the reason why we show CNN and MSNBC most of the time is because y'all don't believe they do it.
And not only that, they do it in an outrageous way. Like,
I mean, Fox News does too. A lot of times,
Yeah.
they do.
I don't watch either.
I don't-
but it's just that
Hannity has been caught multiple times.
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that.
the,
They do it.
The stuff that
Going over the top, you mean?
But what I'm saying is, y'all believe that CNN is telling the truth.
Yeah, there is a benevolency that's allowed.
Yeah.
In with
Like
CNN.
to me, it's a
MSNBC.
given in our community that Fox is lying. It's a given. But y'all believe MSNBC and CNN like that's like it's gospel,
Right.
and so we're pointing out the how it's all the same. It's
Right.
all manipulation. It's all wizardry.
Right, and like I said, remember in the what he commented on earlier with the clip on Kamala. You remember during the Bush presidency, and I'm not advocating for either. I'm just pointing out something. During the Bush presidency, the late night shows were the first ones to come up with the clips of Bush saying a lot of ridiculous things as he did.
Right.
But that was really personified during that time
Mhm.
when you would see Bush saying a lot of stupid things,
Right.
or whatever it is. And it would be a clips. It would take out, and it would be like someone interviewing him, and
Right.
they would chop it up.
Mhm.
That started with during that time. Really,
Yeah.
before that, it wasn't satire that much. So you saw a lot of that. But when it happens on the other side, we have a problem.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah, you're not allowed to. Not only are you not allowed to make fun of it, they will take it down if you do.
Yeah.
Like they have totally censored people that have made memes about Nancy Pelosi, about Chuck Schumer, about Joe Biden, about Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
You
It's
know?
okay to make fun of,
And it's been that way. And that's what I think people don't understand. Like, yeah, Fox News does their thing, but Fox News is one network. We're talking about MSNBC,
Right.
CNN, NBC,
CBS,
ABC,
NBC.
Comedy Central.
Yep.
We're talking about all of the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. They all only allow one narrative to be told. And that's what we're talking about. That's what we're pushing back.
What's wrong
against.
with showing the other side?
Yeah. What's wrong with just pointing out that they're all lying and they're all pushing an agenda? You know what I mean?
But, and not only that, that's the majority of, like you said, it's the majority of media.
Yeah.
Like you got Fox, like
Yeah.
And even they.
Oh, now you got Newsmax and OWN, but who's watching
They're
that?
not as big as.
Right.
Right.
But that's pretty CBS.
What's a breaking point? They used to be on the Hill. I think the
Breaking Points is a great news show.
Yeah, because they're balanced and they have I like them because I think they point out both conservative and liberal.
Sagar is a conservative,
Yeah,
and
liberal.
Crystal is a left. She's like a progressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they both talk about, but they both hate the Republicans and hate the Democrats.
Right.
The establishment ones is what
Right.
I'm saying. So they point out, because I mean, let's keep it real. Like all of the Republicans that have been there for the Mitch McConnells, the Larry Grant, Lindsey Graham, what's his name? Lindsey
South
Graham,
Carolina.
Larry Graham,
Bass player.
Lindsey Graham, all of
The lifers.
Ted Cruz,
Yeah,
like all of these ones, and then on the Democratic side, the Chuck Schumers, Nancy Pelosi's, the Adam
Maxine
Schiff's,
Waters.
Maxine Waters for sure. Like these are the people that they're lying 24/7 just to keep their cushy jobs and their lifestyles and keep giving kickbacks to their corporate
It's
crony
all the
buddies.
same thing a lot of times.
Yeah, they're all on the same team.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just they're just playing both sides.
Yeah.
And that's what we're pointing out. We're pointing out you have no problem. Not specifically this guy, but whoever. You have no problem when it's done to the other side. But when it's done to your side, you're like, it's got to be balanced.
Especially if they're black. That's the thing. And that's the other spell that I think we try to break for like a lot of our black friends. It's like, yo, just because they prop up someone black in front of you doesn't mean
not black.
Well, I mean,
Joy Reid, stop listening to it.
It doesn't mean you got a cape for them.
Right.
A lot of times they're doing it because they know you will.
Yeah.
And they know that this is the way to get you to fall in line. Like, when you really
and
look,
if you are, what's going on with you?
Right.
Like a lot of times it's like there's some insecurity with you.
Right.
You know, that why do we feel like we got to defend these people? You know what I mean? When they're wrong, they're wrong.
Yeah.
Are we even looking at it like, I like Trump for a lot of stuff that he does, but people don't understand why I like him.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like a lot of stuff he does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But all people care about a lot of times is, oh, you like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're looking
You have
at
to like
one
everything
thing.
about
Right,
them.
right.
Yeah. No. I'm telling you why, but you got to be willing to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people are caught up in, I don't like him because he stands for something like this other thing. No. There's reasons why. There's
difference between saying like, yo, I voted for this person, or I lean more to what they stand for, than to being like, yo, I'm in the Trump cult where I'm out there with the Trump flag and I'm out there like, you know, everything that he does is the greatest. Like,
which is what I was saying when last time I was here, I was talking about like the whole MAGA thing too.
Yeah.
You could go down the rabbit hole with those kind of things too.
And people do. That's how all these dummies on January 6th got pulled into that trap, where it's like all you did was feed into the same thing that we're talking about.
Right.
You know,
it's because they got mad.
Yeah.
They got, and is there injustice there? And there's a thing, like you start talking about this, now people, you one of them.
Yeah.
Thinking that voting, well, you got to look at what happened.
Right.
Right? We're not but do you get mad about it? Do you start feeling like you're justified to do things? That's where you go wrong.
Right. Because it was okay for Stacey Abrams to say that there was voting fraud. It was okay for the Hillary and for the dude in New Jersey.
Yeah, you can't you can't claim evidence when it's your turn. Look at the evidence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just it's hilarious.
People are not going to do that though.
It's a trick, and it's
speaking of voting and rights and the Supreme Court. Jake sent me this that I didn't know anything about. But look how the headline spins this in a certain narrative. It's not just, and this is what news is now. It's never just the facts of what is happening. It's always spun in a way to make you, to evoke an emotion. Because the first thing it says is, it's a terrifying time. Legal right to abortion in U.S. faces direct challenge at Supreme Court. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. So what's going on here?
Bans off our bodies.
My body, my choice.
My wallet, my choice.
So,
except for if you have a boy, then he doesn't have a choice.
So Texas is bringing before the Supreme Court, because it's been challenged, their law, what they want to implement in their state. Mm-hmm. So they're going to the Supreme Court about it. This is the first time that Roe v. Wade is really being challenged. Right?
And when you look into Roe v. Wade and how that even got ruled that way, there's a lot of weird stuff that happened.
Yeah, right. But this is going to happen tomorrow. They're supposed to be deliberating over it until Friday, but then you probably won't find out the results for months. You know what I mean? But so I brought this up because, we need to pray. This is stuff we need to pray about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you think like how many millions of babies have died, especially in the black community,
especially,
over this babies.
Yeah.
Not
baby murder.
Not like something that was in the womb. No, babies have died because of this.
Right. And we talk about it on here all the time. When you look at why Planned Parenthood was set up and who set it up, Margaret Sanger, you look at the history of what she believed in and what she thought she was doing and who she was working with, you start to realize something else going on here.
And you can't let politics get in the way of information.
Yeah.
You can't let politics get in the way of that. You have to put that aside to find out, okay, how did this start?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what was the purpose of it?
What was the purpose?
Because, like you said, Bill Gates, his father was
eugenics,
but he was also the president. He was on the board or the president of Planned Parenthood too.
Right.
So yeah, they're connected. You know. Okay, keep moving because we gotta get out of here. Twitter, Jack Dorsey just stepped down as the CEO of Twitter, and the new CEO is this guy right here.
My cousin.
On
Twitter,
the Indian side.
And people were pulling up, he put out a tweet saying that Twitter is not beholden to the First Amendment because it's a global platform. This is his ideology now. So he's going to say that the First Amendment doesn't exist on Twitter because it's a global. Yeah, basically. So now they're taking the steps. Breaking: Twitter will ban users posting photos of people without their consent. First major decision from the new CEO. And as you know what this is going to mean. They're just going to, because just like every rule that they implement in their terms of service is only affecting certain content creators. The certain ones, usually the mainstream narrative ones, are the ones that are allowed to post and put up whatever they want without any recourse. That happens on YouTube, and it also happens on Twitter, Facebook, you name it. But the ones that they don't agree with their when their ideology doesn't align with them, they have it already in place where they can just ban this content.
Joe Rogan is banned.
Joe Rogan's going to get banned. No, because I don't know about that because he doesn't post stuff like that. But I guarantee you Project Veritas, well, they already got banned off Twitter. But like even like all the other like just independent journalists, like all the people that were on the ground during the Kenosha riots, all the people that are on the ground, all those videos
gone.
Are they going to be gone? So they're only going to keep up the videos that move the narrative forward.
Right. Rules for thee.
Yes.
Not for me.
What do we have here? Interesting. I don't even know what this is anymore. That's it. Okay. I think we got everything. Yeah, we got everything. All right, guys.
Play that again.
You want to see that? You want to see that again?
Deserves a song. I thought you'd never ask. You gotta reach right out and love each other. Never push or shove another unless you're angered by something that they said, and then feel free to kick them till they're dead. Shoulder, noses,
All right, guys.
I still want to do the commercial with Jake doing in the arms of the open.
Yeah.
Speaking of the artists.
In the arms of the angel.
Yeah, the angel, whatever.
Yeah. With all the,
get it right.
With all the old artists still doing their thing. New Kids on the Block up there. MC Hammer doing the hammer pants.
But like
it's all in slow motion though, right? Yeah. That would be hilarious. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. Shout out to everybody who's been watching. I know Donnie is
steaming again.
He's having fun. He's having fun. He's having fun
Thank you, Donnie, for even. I like that he pushes back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because we need people to let us elaborate on why we're doing what we're doing.
Right.
Yep.
You know, because most people just think.
Right.
I remember, like we said this last week, people would just be like, "Oh, y'all some Republicans."
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
No. But
isn't that something though? Like you can't just question things anymore. You're immediately in a camp.
What team are you on?
Yeah.
It's all about teams, man. Yeah. You're either on their team or you're on our team. And that you know, you can't just be like, no, I'm not on any team.
No, we for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
exactly.
We're God's team.
Yep.
Donnie said, I mean, the words are so on time. I don't know what that means. Maybe he means the song that Jim Carrey was singing. All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys for staying tuned in and watching and all the comments and everything. That really helps us out. I hope everybody shared this video. If you haven't shared it, please hit the share button before you exit. Hit the like button, please. And also, don't forget Patreon. Donnie, we're still waiting for that Cash App. I don't know if you donated yet. You got a lot of stuff to say. But if you want to become a member, you can sign up on our Patreon and help out. You know, like I said, we're trying to build this community up, and we want to have multiple people, multiple opinions. We should bring Donnie on, man.
Yeah.
We should bring Donnie on, or at least Skype him in. At least, or not Skype him in. We can rendezvous him in, you know, and talk about stuff. But yeah, patreon.com/youngliontv if you want to become a member. YouTube.com, youngliontv on there, and you could subscribe with the notification bell on there. We're trying to get more people subscribed onto our YouTube, and we got jatan.com right there if you want to get merch or listen to our music. Check out our music videos, all that good stuff. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for coming through, man. Looking forward to December. We're in December now.
It's fun when everybody comes.
I know, man. It's always good. It's always good. It's hard to get everybody together all the time, man. Yeah. Shout out to John and Rachel. Appreciate you guys for producing and being here. And we're looking forward to 2022. What's coming up, man? Christmas is coming. Christmas time is here.
I got my pajamas already. So.
Yeah. I know.
He's full in.
I've always liked Christmas pajamas.
I like it.
All right.
Me too, brother. Me too.
Well, we'll see you guys next week, man. God willing. We appreciate you. We're going to get out of here. Peace.
Peace.
Young lion, go live, yeah. Young lion, you rich.